Cincinnati in a little bit, not too far from now, so we may try and talk to somebody from the Queen City. But I was watching back some games today because I wanted to get more context. As a Western Conference team, a Western Conference podcast, we didn't get to watch a ton of Lucho Acosta. That's to our own detriment. Player, and he was obviously the league MVP. But watching him with FC Cincinnati, I was struck by how similar, his style of play, his body language, just everything. Everything is so similar, with the exception of he was getting a goal and assist basically every single match. And I think Garrett was spot on when he talked about the runners around him. We were watching the game in particular when they beat Miami 6-1 at home. And obviously, Miami was at 6s and 7s in that game, and they had Sergio Busquets at center back, and it was a bit of a nightmare. But watching the moments where he creates shots, he creates goals, there's 2 to 3 runners either side of him, and he's able to use that to manipulate the defense, whether it's on the dribble or with the pass. And that really hasn't been the case. It's been a two-man game with Petar Musa.
Following is a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Out wide right with Ladero onto his favorite left foot. Jack McGlynn centrally just hit the post moments ago. No whistle as Musa got a tug of the jersey. We play on, ball in behind for Julio. Foot race here. Anderson, Julio, past Tarbell, empty net. Anderson, Julio!
FC Dallas plays their third home match in as many contests, coming off a hard-fought draw against Real Salt Lake. This saw the return of both Petar Musa and Paxton Palmacal. Dallas is still seeking their second home win in league play, and their next opportunity comes tonight in the Frisco half of the Texas Derby. These teams opened the season in the Bayou City, with Dallas grabbing their first win of the season 2-1. El Capitan and Copa Tejas are in play tonight as FC Dallas looks to do the double over hated rival Houston Dynamo. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. On tonight's presentation, we'll have the sounds of tonight's match. Your broadcast team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me to break down the important tactics and storylines for tonight's matchup. But first, admittedly, on a bit of a delay, we bring in the FC Dallas Insider. You can find his fine work on FCDallas.com. And, of course, he co-hosts the FC Dallas Agenda, heard every Wednesday on the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed. Is Garrett Meltzer. Garrett, you're fresh off your debut, but you're back in your normal slot. Happy Wild West night to you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Well, obviously, we were going to talk a little bit about things, but weather decided to throw a little bit of a curve, so we're going to kick at 8:25 now for those uninitiated. And when it comes to delays, we don't think about it much, but even an hour delay, that can change up how teams want to get things and how all these athletes who have a very established routine, that can affect some things, can it not?
Yeah, it could, but I think more often it affects it. It happens when it's a lightning delay in the middle of a game or something like that, where you play 25 minutes, then go off and cool down in the locker room, then come back out, re-warm up again. So the fact that it's just not even a full hour delay prior to the game, I don't think it's going to change too much, and hopefully we still get a usual fiery Texas Derby like we're used to.
It's definitely preferable, and you're not wrong. This is one of the biggest rivalries in MLS. I think it was ranked number 6 recently by one of the commentators on MLS's website. But, we saw it earlier. We've seen it once this year. It's going to be one of the earlier concluded Texas Derbies we see here at the end of May. But for the uninitiated, maybe you're new here, maybe you're just dropping in, what about this specific Derby makes it what it is?
Well, it's Dallas versus Houston. Of course, the cities have a lot of rivalry kind of built in from other sports and whatnot. But in MLS terms, these are the two original Texas clubs. Of course, Dallas, an MLS original, and then Houston joining the league in 2006. So for about 15 years, they were the only two teams in MLS in Texas. Of course, Austin joining in 2021 is shaking that up a little bit. But they compete for El Capitan. That's the shared trophy they have. You can see it below the replay board at the north end of the stadium.
Yeah,
there.
northeast, if you will.
Yeah, northeast in the stadium. It's the 18th century replica cannon. Whichever team wins the series gets to keep that cannon at their stadium for the next season. And thankfully, since Dallas won 2-1 in Houston at the beginning of the season, all Dallas needs to do is win or draw tonight, and they'll keep it for a fourth consecutive year. And that's the first time that would ever happen in the Texas Derby. And also, it would be the 7th time in the last 8 seasons that Dallas gets to keep the cannon. So it's been a pretty dominant period for FC Dallas in this Derby.
Yeah, the only way Houston gets the cannon back, a 2-goal or more victory tonight, and I guess that can happen. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the 11 charged with starting out the retention of El Capitan tonight: Michael Colodi and net, Nolan Norris, Osaze Uragide, Sebastian Biaga, and Shaq Moore. Ka'ike, Ramiro, Anderson Julio, Lucho Acosta, Pedrinho, and Petter Musa. And this is a 5-change lineup for FC Dallas. Let's start with the one that kind of developed late. No Martin Paz tonight. He is out of the 20, but it's not for performance. He's got an illness. That means Michael Collodi comes in, Antonio Carrera to the bench. And this is another opportunity for Collodi, who's had a really good performance against Real Salt Lake. Had a little bit of a challenge against Avialta, but got it squared away. But this is probably one of the big tests for him. It's a derby match. It's at home. It's kind of hot. It's a big chance for him in a big moment.
It definitely is, and it's very unfortunate to lose Martin Paz the day of the game through an illness. The good thing is that Michael Collodi has some experience under his belt now. He of course, came into this season as an MLS rookie. FC Dallas homegrown, had a great season with North Texas last year, but he made his debut a couple weeks ago in Real Salt Lake, got a shutout, looked very good, very comfortable. Maybe didn't have quite as impressive performance against Avialta in the Open Cup, did get chipped from midfield. A lot of that's not just on him. That's how Eric Quill's asking him to play. He wants him to be an aggressive goalkeeper playing high up to aid the back four in terms of building out and whatnot. But a big opportunity for him, and what I'm interested to see is we know he's excellent with his feet, Michael Collodi, really good on his left and right. And so we saw Dallas have a lot of trouble building out of the back last week. Michael Collodi might shore that up a little bit and then help his back four in terms of the passing range.
Well, another guy that might help with that is Petter Musa. He is back in the starting 11. He returned last week in the draw, played about 25 minutes, give or take, and definitely looked like he hadn't played in a month. We don't expect him to have the full 90 in him tonight since this is only his first start back. But does that make him even a little bit more dangerous, knowing that, hey, I don't have to conserve my energy for a full 90. I can just go hard at you for 45 minutes or maybe a little bit more.
For sure. We're going to see all-action Moose for at least the first half, I believe. And look, he loves a Texas derby. He's got 3 goals and an assist against Houston in just 3 games. Of course, scoring the goal in the previous matchup in Houston in February. And he's so important to how this team plays because he can do everything. He's an all-around forward. He can run in behind. He can hold the ball up. We've seen, especially this year, he's dropping a little bit deeper into midfield to help the build. And I think most importantly is his chemistry and on-field relationship with Lucho Acosta. Ever since Musa went down with that ankle injury, we've probably seen Lucho, sink down a little bit in terms of his brightness and his ability to inspire creativity in the final third. And when Musa and him are on the field together, they just find each other. 1-2s everywhere. Looking forward to see that again tonight.
Yeah, the Dallas offense seemingly at its best so far when those two are on the field together. Another guy we expect on the field at some point tonight, it's stop number 2 on the Paxton Palmacall reunion tour. Don't call it a comeback because he's looking like the old Paxton. And obviously they're going to be super cautious with Pax because of his history. But, 25, 30 minutes tonight, what do you think the scenario is in which the ideal scenario that he can come into if you're FCD?
I mean, an ideal scenario would be 3-0 up, and you have Paxton come in and just kind of help see the game out a little bit. But I don't think that's a scenario that we're going to see. I think it's going to be a tight one, often is in the Texas Derby. A lot of draws in this one, so it's always kind of on a knife edge. But I do think we'll see Paxton regardless of the scoreline. And it's unfortunate that he's, of course, not 90 minutes fit. You got to play it safe with a guy who's been out for almost 18 months. But what he'll bring off the bench is energy and playmaking ability, and most importantly, helping this team build out of the back. Like I said, a big struggle this year. He's excellent at all those things, and he also loves the Texas Derby. We interviewed him midweek, and he says, I'm not the biggest fan of Houston, but I love playing in these games, so I think he'll get another chance tonight.
There's no more talismanic FC Dallas player than Paxton Palmacall. I can argue that he is FC Dallas in that way. Let's make like estheticians and talk about Brazilians here for a moment. First, Pedrinho gets another start tonight. He's going to play, we'll know he's going to be in an advanced position. Who knows exactly where he ends up. But this is a guy that continues to impress Eric Quill. He's been great, especially off the bench, and it's now about finding that next level, playing for extended time, and in his case, starting. How far away do you think we are from that, or do you think maybe he has found his groove to do so?
Yeah, it's a really good question because he has started games this season, but I think he's actually looked more comfortable and more impressive coming into games off the bench and providing that spark. So kind of a big test to see, can you be that guy for 60, 70, potentially even 90 minutes? Because we haven't seen that from him yet. We know he can do that at the MLS Next Pro level. Did it for North Texas all last season. Scored a great goal in the final to win the championship right here. But we haven't quite seen that full 90-minute game from him at the MLS level yet. We know it's a big step up, but considering he's only 22 years old in his first MLS season, he's done very, very well, probably better than
thick and fast as they.
And he's another guy who has a great on-field relationship with Lucho Acosta.
Garrett,
getting him and
potentially for Eric Quill in this one is Ramiro back from suspension.
needs to kind of have the offensive breakout that we've been waiting for.
And the other one is Ramiro. He is back after yellow card suspension. He'll play next to Ka'ike in some form of single or double pivot. And the last time we saw those two together, there was more of Ka'ike as an 8. Well, now we've got to see Ka'ike play more of a 6, so this can be more of a representative 2-double-6 situation. With his experience, how do you think that's going to change, knowing that these two seem to play well and communicate well?
They do, absolutely. And I think it'll be another case of
Can't believe you're
home guy, the guy who's there to spray passes around and help build out of the back, where Ka'ike's got that athleticism, and he loves to get forward, probably more than we expected based on the profile of the player. We're told that he was a more traditional number 6 defensive midfielder. He's come in, he's been often more times box-to-box, kind of a number 8. And he's impressed in the opponent's half and sometimes in the final third as well. So I think it'll be another case of where if there's one midfielder who's more likely going to stay back, it'll probably be Ramiro. The good thing is if Ka'ike gets forward, he's got the speed and the energy to get back every single time.
And the want to as well. Go back and watch some of that AV Alta game. He was all over the place. Well, as we look to close down here, let's talk a little bit about the opponent, Houston Dynamo. They're coming off a win at home against Minnesota, 2-0. The only problem is, Garrett, they haven't won a road game all season. Only one other club has been that bad on the road, and that's the LA Galaxy, who don't have a win at all. Although this is not the same Houston team we saw in the opener.
No, it's not. And most importantly, that they've added a designated player, the most important type of player in this league, Andre Linger, a Czechoslovakian or Czech Republic attacking midfielder. He's been playing left wing for them. He's already scored 2 goals, one against Austin, so he kind of understands the Texas rivalry games. So he changes how they play. He loves a shot from distance, so Dallas needs to be careful to close him down. I think the most important thing for Dallas, though, is to go at him with energy right from the start. Look, Houston was kind of unlucky in that they played midweek. Dallas didn't. They've got 3 days extra rest in their legs. Dallas needs to go in with high intensity from the very start and pedal to the metal, get a goal, and then just keep going.
Yeah, if you didn't hear about that, just let Ben Olsen tell it. He talked about it a lot this week. But that is Garrett Meltzer, who talks about only the finest things, both on his work on FCDallas.com, on the FC Dallas agenda every week, and we will hear him at halftime of this one. Garrett, we'll talk to you in a little while.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll bring you the sounds of tonight's match. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Logan Farrington, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Dinner all season long when FC Dallas wins at home. Fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame shows. We're getting you ready for FC Dallas versus the Houston Dynamo tonight in the Texas Derby, and it is presented by Toyota. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me. We'll have the tactics, the lineups, everything you need to know about tonight's interstate rivalry. And while we have a moment, let me remind you about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, which is your hub for everything FC Dallas. Of course, our signature postgame show, everything you need to know about the game that was in 30 minutes or less. But starting this year, we've had the FC Dallas Agenda, which comes through every Wednesday morning. You'll get away from games, previews of games, interviews with all the big newsmakers. Everything you need to know about FC Dallas comes in the midweek form. In about an hour or so, some guests we've had. Paxton Pomacall just joined us. We've had Eric Quill, Andre Zanata, Leo Baldo. The list goes on and on. So all you need to do, go to your podcast provider of choice, type in FC Dallas Radio Network, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content. Now let's go ahead and get you to the sounds of tonight's match, which this evening are from a pair of managers, FC Dallas manager Eric Quill and Houston manager Ben Olsen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I've watched many of them, and I know, how the fans feel about this. I know how our players feel, and obviously we've already had a game against them, so I know they've got extra motivation behind them, so we've got to be ready for war. And I truly believe we will be, based on what I've just watched out here and trained in today and all week long. So it's a game that, the margins are very small, and when your moment is there, you got to punish. And it's always a tight battle, and it's just it tests your willpower, it tests your concentration, tests your mentality, and so we need to stand up to all those phases and be the better on the day in order to get the result. But Houston's quality. That's why you have a team, right? It's why it's everybody's contribution in these moments where you play 3-7s and 3-6s, and you're not just riding 11 guys. We're riding a full roster, which is what we put together, and I'm looking forward to seeing the contribution of everyone and us coming together and being strategic. We're going.
We got to continue to rely on our depth, and we're looking forward to the challenge. They came in here and got some points here, and we certainly remember that, and looking forward to getting up there and hopefully putting a really good performance on and trying to get the points back. It was a win, so it helps, but I don't know if it's winning on Wednesday is relative to this game. It's going to be a whole different animal, and we're away against a rested opponent, so it'll be a difficult task. But again, one I know these guys are looking forward to, and it just means we have to continue to rely on our depth. And we always knew this. This isn't a surprise that we were going to have the Saturday's games.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis join me to break down tonight's matchup. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT South.
Get lost in our two-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow.
If you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Leggett, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota. We have got about 12 minutes from kickoff here at Toyota Stadium, so let's go ahead and get you tonight's starting lineups, which are brought to you by Advocare. We'll start first with the visiting Houston Dynamo and third-year manager Ben Olsen. It's Jonathan Bond in net, Franco Escobar, Obafemi Awadesu, Pablo Ortiz, and Griffin Dorsey on the back line. Artur, Jack McGlynn, and Brooklyn Range in midfield. Armin Bassi, Sebastian Kowalczyk, and Andre Linger up top for the Dynamo. Now let's bring you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and first-year manager Eric.
Petar Musa, forward from Zagreb, Croatia.
Marco Farfan, Lalas Abubakar, Patrickson, Antonio Carrera, Siki and Sabeling, Paxton Palmacall, Show, Logan Farrington, and Bernard Kamungo. Steve Davis. And Steve, we wouldn't be doing a service without talking about this is the rivalry in Texas. We could talk about the budding one between Austin and Dallas, but this is the original. This is, I would argue, the biggest one of the two. You know, for those uninitiated or maybe who just need a reminder, talk us through the Texas Derby.
Well, first of all, thank you, Sam. It's rivalry week, and this is one of the older ones. You're right, it is the original Texas Derby. I know people get confused around the country, and Austin has entered the chat, but this one, I don't know of another rivalry where one player has full-on kung fu kicked another one in the to earn a 10-game suspension. I don't know that there are that many where there's been a full-on Donnybrook in a preseason game. It did hurt the rivalry a little bit that Houston moved to the Eastern Conference for a little while. I think it hurt the rivalry a little bit that Houston was down for a bunch of years. They haven't been great in the series, particularly in North Texas, but they still have a cannon to play for, and I think that's something.
It certainly is something, and Ryan, one of the big pieces to retain that cannon for Dallas tonight is Petar Musa. He is back in the starting lineup. Probably not for the whole game, but any moose you can get is better than no moose, and I think if you're the center backs tonight, Awadesu and Ortiz, you're not looking forward to playing 45 minutes of full gear Petar Musa tonight.
No, absolutely. I mean, Petar Musa, he gets it, right? He has an incredible record in Copa Tejas games, whether it's against Austin or against Houston. He had a goal and assist against Houston back in week 1 as well. I mean, this is a player that understands the importance of rivalry matches, and he's one of Dallas's best players. Just getting him back in the 11, not only does it bring up the level of the forward line, it improves the connection with Lucho Acosta. It gives the team an outlet to play direct and in transition. I'm excited to see what the move.
Other person.
Need to keep integrating him into things. You got about 10 plus minutes last week. About 20 minutes this week is what I would expect, and I certainly hope to see it.
Well, as we kind of look here at what Houston is coming in, winless in Frisco since 2011, Steve, has not been very good, but this is a little... Changed goalkeeper, Jonathan Bond, is in net now for the Dynamo.
Well, their goalkeeping situation has been a little bit of chaos. They've used 4 this year. Look, on the road this year, they're not that bad. And to Portland, draws at LA Galaxy, at Seattle. So actually not that bad on the road.
Meanwhile, as we look here, Ryan, we saw Ezekiel Ponce not in the lineup tonight, but Amin Bassi, who had the goal against Dallas, is in the night. You also got Andre Linger on the right side, who didn't fare against Dallas in that first game. That presents an attacking challenge for the Dallas defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's our first look at Linger since he came over as a new designated player. Be interested to see if he plays on the wing or plays through the middle as a 9 with no Ponce. He does wear the number 9, but he's been playing on the wing for the most part. Awodesu and Escobar missed the last game with suspension. They should be fresh on the back line. A lot to look for on the Houston side.
We sure will, and we will take a break. When we come back, Steve Davis will have the keys to the match as Ryan and Steve get you ready for the Texas Derby. It's Houston, it's Dallas here at Toyota Stadium. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Welcome to where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the World of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Sebastian Ibiaga. Tonight's FC Dallas match is up next, right here on the FC Dallas app.
Toyota Stadium, where tonight for the 50th time in MLS regular season action, it's Dallas and Houston set to lock horns in the Texas Derby. A rivalry first ignited by Kenny Cooper, Carlos Ruiz, and Ricardo Clark back in 2006. Still hotly contested, but lately dominated by Dallas. Eric Cool's side is looking to continue a 14-year unbeaten run against the Dynamo in Frisco. And if they do that, they will retain control of El Capitan, the symbol of dominance in the Derby, for the 4th season in a row. I'm Ryan Figert, joined tonight by Steve Davis, joined a little later on by the leading scorer all-time for FCD against the Dynamo, the club legend and ambassador Kenny Cooper himself. But first things first, though, Steve, after a brief weather delay, we're finally ready for some Texas Derby action. We've got some housekeeping. We've got some keys to the match to get to. I'll throw it to you for that.
You got it, Ryan. First of all, better start tonight. Look, it's been a recurring issue this year. Sometimes the team's a little slow collectively at the first whistle. Sometimes they jump out with energy but can't convert them chances. So whatever the level is today, you got to find it quick, get going right from the jump. Number 2, they got to get width in the attack, Brian. They simply have to stretch teams a little bit more across the field. I think that's a big reason we're seeing a shape change today, whether it's the outside backs getting forward or Julio and Pedri keeping wider positions further up the field. They've got to create width in the final third. And then number 3, they've got to deal with Jack McGlynn tonight. Linger and Bossy, they're good players on the outside, but it's McGlynn who is the dynamic danger man in the middle. So a lot of today is about how Ramiro and Kayeke, the 2 holding mids for Dallas, how they're going to communicate and deal with McGlynn in the middle. And those are your keys presented by Toyota.
And amongst the 5 changes, one at both ends of the field. Martin Poss replaced by Michael Collodi in net. The good thing is, though, Steve, Collodi's now got 2 games under his belt. He's not green anymore.
No, he had the first shutout before Martin Paz had any. It was interesting. We asked Eric Quill yesterday. You asked, how would he do after giving up a goal, probably a bad goal in that U.S. Open Cup game, and Eric Quill just brushed that one right off. He said that guy's a warrior. He could give up 4 like that. It wouldn't shake him. He's going to be fine.
Well, we shook off some weather in the area to get this one started a little bit later than we expected, and we're now down into the 70s. Still, though, 72% humidity, and we could feel that as soon as we opened the windows to the booth. The humidity came swirling in. The officiating crew tonight, an all-female crew of Tori Pinso, Brooke Mayo, Catherine Nesbitt, and the fourth official is Sergi Boyko. We are just about set for Texas Derby action in Frisco, Texas. It's going to be the Dynamo to get us underway as they move from left to right in the first half. Orange shirts and socks with white shorts. Dallas in their chain strip, light blue/gray with red accents moving from right to left, unleashing the Inferno in the Texas Derby for the first time. These two teams met back in week 1. Dallas the victor down in Houston. And it's been FC Dallas who have long held home field in this rivalry, going back 14 years now since the Dynamo won here in Frisco. We're just about set for another close contest in this interstate showdown, Steve.
Ironically, Ryan, one of these teams has won an MLS Cup.
Bossy to get things going once we sing Deep in the Heart of Texas. Dallas, the MLS original in the state. Houston, the second on the scene before Austin joined the party late. This one, of course, counts for Copa Tejas, the inner 3-team tournament between the 3, but it's El Capitan who is at stake today. Dallas needs a win or a draw to hold on to the cannon for the 4th straight season. They'll look to do that as we are underway in Frisco. Jonathan Bond launching it long. First header there, won by Kaique. His first introduction to the Derby. He did not make his debut in that week 1 matchup. He was signed afterwards.
Tori Pinso in the middle tonight. I really like her. I think she's one of the better MLS officials.
Dorsey with the throw-in down the line. Norris wins the first header. Kaique, another header there, won. Battling with Brooklyn Reigns, a U20 national team teammate of Nolan Norris. Header on in midfield from Pedrinho, looking for the run of Anderson Julio, who scored the winner back in week 1 against Houston. Referee Tori Pinso waves away some contact there between Jack McGlynn and Nolan Norris. It's out for a Houston throw.
Big contact there.
Out there, designated player, striker Ezekiel Ponce, who was, as far as we can tell, a healthy scratch tonight. The Dynamo did play midweek on Wednesday. Lucho there trying a switching ball, turns it over. And Dallas win possession back. It does look like it'll be Andre Linger through the middle.
Ponce's a big loss for him. He's kind of that classic number 9, likes to play as a target. He's pretty good in the air if you can give him some service. He sort of dunked on Ibiaga and Osaze to help create the first goal down in Houston the other day, or a couple of months ago.
Second straight week in MLS, and Dallas faces an opposition for the second time in the season. Awadesu, who made his MLS debut against Dallas back in week 1 with his first action of the game. They're getting there ahead of Anderson Julio, but conceding a throw. Behind the play, Lucho Acosta has stayed down, and the referee's going to come check on him. Conversation with the 4th official, who's a few yards away from where Lucho is still on the turf. Now picks himself back up. And we are ready to resume things.
Yeah, it's Griffin Dorsey that hit him well after the play.
And there's a nutmeg from Lucho on Andre Linger. Nolan Norris looking for an early ball, swung in, defended there by Ortiz. One of a host of Dynamo players who were signed since that opening day defeat. "13 departures, 14 new signings for the Dynamo over the window. might be second most in the league behind FC Dallas in terms of roster turnover. These two teams look very different than they did just about a year ago when Dallas won 2-0 with a Griffin Dorsey red card. There's Shaq Moore. First involvement for him in the midfield for Ramiro is back from suspension, and he draws a foul there from Brooklyn Reigns. Conversation with the referee, and looks like Kowalczyk on the far side about disrupting Dallas from trying to go quick. Something we noticed immediately with the Dynamo fans up in the corner away to our right. That always brings a little more energy out of the home fans. I think we're in for a fun one tonight. Despite the rain delay, the fans have stuck around. And there's some good energy in the building. And we'll bring some good energy into the booth as well in just a little bit with Kenny Cooper joining us. Turnover there from Kaique to Artur, fellow Brazilian. Now Houston into the attacking third. Nice home win over a rotated Minnesota side on Wednesday for Houston. Try and build some momentum.
Kaique giving the ball away there, Ryan. It's something we're watching tonight because Dallas hasn't been great on the build-out anyway. And tonight, given that shape change, before when they had the 4-2-3-1, they were getting outnumbered in the middle because Lucho Acosta at the top of that triangle was sort of roaming. And so really keeping an eye on that tonight. Are they going to get outnumbered in there and continue to have trouble building out of the back?
Majority of possession in these opening 5 minutes, definitely with the Dynamo. We'll have it here. Ortiz, the Colombian center back, no pressure on him.
Although you say that, we're about 5 minutes old, and I don't think either team's had the ball out of the midfield.
Houston trying to build up on the far side. It breaks for Kowalczyk, pokes it in behind. Andre Linger making the run towards the corner flag, chased by Uriguide. And Shaq Moore able to win possession back for Dallas and send it down the field towards Lucho, flicked on to Musa. Nice back heel back towards Lucho, but Artur puts his foot through it all the way through to Michael Collodi. Quickly rolls it out to Kaique. Drive it forward on the dribble. Morris back to Uriguide. You can hear the Rhine at full voice behind the Dallas side tonight. These games just mean that much more for the club and for the fans.
Houston with a pretty aggressively high line.
And I saw what that can lead to with the Anderson Julio goal back in the win in Houston. Julio setting up on the left today. Ramiro ahead to Pedrinho. First time flick looking for Lucho. Off the mark. Recovered by Artur. Where's the armband for Houston? Ramiro whistled for a foul there against Brooklyn Reigns. He gets that one back on him. Houston, who have been a dominant possession team since Ben Olsen took over, but they did lose the key pieces to their midfield in the offseason. And they've been looking to rebuild that identity with players like Jack McGlynn. Here's Dorsey, who brings it forward up the right side. Poked out wide right for McGlynn. And Uriguide comes and takes it off his toes. Now puts the ball in behind. Julio's going to give chase. This one, though, just skewed out of play. There was space in behind for the Ecuadorian there.
Yeah, it was a good look from Uriguide. Just almost pulled that one off. Great job of Uriguide there of coming over and helping Nolan Norris as he got into a little bit of trouble.
Looks like McGlynn setting up as a right winger in this shape.
I mean, he drifts to the right a lot anyway, out of that midfield spot.
Here's Linger on the turn. Nice tackle there from Houston native Sebastian Ibiaga. Scored against the Dynamo in this fixture last year. Shaq Moore going to go long and go early for the run of Petar Musa. Musa tries to bring it down. He got there first ahead of Ortiz. Couldn't quite control it and eventually skewed up in the air for Jonathan Bond to chase. Appeals for a pass back there. Nothing given. It was Andrew Tarbell who started in goal for Houston back in week 1. Lost him to a season-ending injury. They thought it'd be familiar face in Jimmy Maurer taking over, but then he was unfortunately injured pretty quickly after that, and that meant they had to go and sign Jonathan Bond, the 31-year-old English veteran, with Maurer now resuming his place as the number 2 on the bench.
Bond was in LA. I wouldn't say he was exactly lighting it up in MLS then. He was there for 3 years.
Most recently with Watford. But the irony is we never got the Jimmy Maurer against Martin Pos game that we thought we would have expected in one of these 2 fixtures. Pos missing tonight through illness. Here's a nice ball through the lines. Finds Shaq Moore, who released early there. And now Ka'ike trying to go on the dribble through 2 and winning a foul from Sebastian Kowalczyk.
Yeah, well, the second irony there being that Jimmy Maurer is available for the game tonight and Paz isn't.
Dallas trying to go short on the free kick there inside the center circle, but one conversation for Tori Pinso between Linger and Ka'ike. Linger, the 26-year-old of the Czech Republic. Ka'ike, the Brazilian teenager. Not sure what language they could have been speaking to get at each other there. Here's a nice ball through the lines. Julio out wide left to Nolan Norris. Norris cut back ball looking for Musa, who will track it down, but it's cleared away by the Dynamo. That one nearly coming good off the quick free kick.
I think Nolan Norris had Pedrinho at the back post there. Sort of being deferential to Petar Musa. Ryan, I think you sniffed it out pretty well. I think you're right. It's 4-4-2, at least on the defending side for the Dynamo. You're right, with McGlynn setting up on the right, and then it's Bassi and Linger as the 2 up front.
Bassi, he can do some damage as sort of that off striker. That's how he scored against Dallas earlier in the season. I had a 10-goal season a couple years ago. A lot of those were penalties, but we'll try and support the new designated player alongside him in the Houston attack today. Here's a ball forward from Ibiaga. Nice weight on it. Pedrinho gives chase and battling with Ortiz. Ortiz gets his body in the way. And a late flag there from the referee's assistant on the far side gives a foul against Pedrinho.
Yeah, it looked like Pedrinho just had a little too much arm action going against Ortiz as he gave chase there.
Well, if that was the case, he certainly wasn't troubling him. Maybe he needs some more time in the gym. Go through the big body of Pablo Ortiz, standing at 6'3". Grabbed a goal, actually, in just his second appearance on Wednesday against Minnesota, and that is enough to keep your spot in the team. Houston, of late, have been good on set pieces. That's been their route to goals.
Yeah, their last 3 goals have all started on set pieces delivered by McGlynn.
Bond sends the troops up the field, launches it long. Ibiaga wins the header, pretty much uncontested there. And they will chase it all the way back to Jonathan Bond under pressure from Petar Musa. Bond puts this one out in front of Griffin Dorsey, and good weight on it. He receives it right on the halfway line. Ka'ike coming across to defend. And Dorsey will chop back and keep possession there. Out wide left, overlapping run from Franco Escobar, who's a right-footed player. He cuts back, finds Bassi. Brooklyn Reigns back to Bassi through the lines for Linger. Linger loose touch there, and Nolan Norris wins it back. First time into Lucho, now out in front of Anderson Julio. Foot race there. Awadesu had a pretty big head start. Was just about able to get there first. Ka'ike, good job of just sensing the pressure there and keeps possession. Finds Ramiro ahead to Musa. In behind, looking for the run of Julio, who wasn't quite on the same page that time, and to go through for a goal kick. Bond takes it short. Ortiz will bring it up for Houston, the center back. We're about to have a special guest here for you on the radio network. Kenny Cooper getting stripped and ready to enter the match. It's been a while since we've been able to say that.
Don't give him any ideas, Ryan. You'll want to get down there.
I still think Kenny, 5-10 minutes off the bench, could do a job. Houston still in possession here. Direct into Linger, who wins a foul there, tripped up by Ka'ike. Going going short. And they find McGlynn. McGlynn can get turned here in the center circle. He'll drive up the right side. Dorsey outside of him. McGlynn wants to get to his left foot. He faces up Ramiro. Now bends the ball towards the back post. Kowalczyk turns it goalward. Blocked by Shaq Moore and out for a corner. Well, the Dallas players appealing for a bounce back off of Houston. But it will be a corner.
And what you'll say is we're 14 minutes in, and that's the first time McGlynn's really had the opportunity to create any damage in the attacking third. And that's good for FC Dallas.
McGlynn did hit the woodwork in that season opener, and he's had a couple of long-range golazos so far in his early Houston career.
He banged the woodwork in that one, didn't he?
Could have changed the whole story of the game and even the season. Here he is with service from the far side. Right arm raised. Houston fans up in the stands above him. Whipped in towards the near post. Header won by Dorsey, but off target. And it'll be a goal kick, and that's the perfect time to welcome Kenny Cooper onto the broadcast. The all-time leading scorer for FC Dallas against the Houston Dynamo joins us now. Kenny, welcome on.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I'm breathing a little heavy. I took the stairs. My fitness isn't what it was.
5 and 10 minutes off the bench, that's all we're asking for. So
I'm ready.
Dallas building up here short from the goal kick. It's Michael Collodi in net. Out to Uragide, Kaique into Lucho. Lucho can get turned. A lot of space out on the far side for Shaq Moore. Shaq Moore's going to drive this one forward. He's got runners entering the box to his left. Early cross in towards Musa. Oh, it just evades the striker and ends up for a throw here on the near side.
Best back to front sequence we've seen FC Dallas so far tonight in 15 minutes. That one took about 6 seconds to create a half chance right in front of goal.
And Kenny, watching Musa there on that run, talk about what it's like as a striker when you see that much space for the fullback. You're trying to find the space inside the 18.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was hustling to get in there. And I call him Mr. Inevitable because it feels inevitable that he's going to get on the end of something. And he knows where to put the ball. But, his movement's amazing. His finishing's amazing. And it's good to see him back out and starting tonight.
And you told us a couple weeks ago that while he was rehabbing to get back from the ankle injury, you got to work on a finishing session with him. Talk about what he's like in training.
He's very special. His finishing is elite. Just the pace he puts on the ball, the accuracy. One drill in particular we did, I think he went 10 for 10, and with his left foot, by the way. It was fun to watch. It was fun to jump in with them. We competed a little bit, which is great. And it's been great getting to know him since he's come here. And I love having opportunities like that to get with the forwards in front of the goal. And he's a special one, man.
Whistle goes for free kick. Nolan Norris with contact there against Jack McGlynn just outside the technical area of the FC Dallas coaching staff. Drew Keyshawn up quickly to try and get the team well positioned defensively for this free kick. Lucho Acosta going to use the opportunity as the Dallas captain just to have a conversation with Tori Pinso, the referee.
Yeah, it's about where the ball is placed. I think she got it pretty close.
Well, McGlynn's going to take every blade of grass he can. He continues to roll it forward as the referee's back is turned.
Well, he's pushing him more inside is what he really wants.
A lot of targets to aim at. Pretty much everybody in a Houston jersey is going to be attacking this one. McGlynn off the left foot all the way through towards the back post. Header won there by Shaq Moore. Put back in by Kowalczyk. Back heel from Owadesu at the top of the box. And Collodi is out to come and claim it.
Nice and alert there from Michael Collodi. Good moment from him. Confident too. Really quick off the line.
And Dallas now trying to build through the midfield. Ramiro in there alongside Kaique. Norris down the line. Lucho Acosta, nice flick. Finds Julio. Back to Acosta. Again, a lot of space for Shaq Moore. Ball out in front of the right back, who's got time to measure this cross in. All the way towards the back post is Lucho Acosta. Oh, he skews the shot wide. Breaks again for Shaq Moore. Header into the area. Cleared away by Artur. Big chance there for the Dallas captain. And Kaique wins a free kick in the aftermath. This will be a chance to put the ball in the box.
Oh, Acosta arriving late there at the back post. Had it set up. Just didn't get it right. Ends up pushing it back across the face of the goal instead of at goal. Tough moment there for Lucho Acosta.
Kenny, it can be tough when the ball's coming through so many different players. You don't know if it's going to get a flick along the way. You just had to wait at the back post for that one.
Yeah, it's true. Here's in a great spot. So many balls end up far post. We have a joke in my family. My father, we'll finish our phone calls. We tell each other, we say our love yous, then we say we'll meet you at the far post. This is something that was preached to me for a long time.
Acosta taking the free kick, that one towards the near post. Ibiaga unable to win the header, but Dallas will keep possession. And now it's Shaq Moore looking for Lucho Acosta, flipping the rolls, and it's good weight on it. Acosta brings it out of the sky and skips past one defender. Ball swung in, headed at the near post by Ortiz. Behind for a corner. Dallas really starting to build some pressure here in the 19th minute.
I think it was your old teammate, Thierry Henry, that says a winger should get 7 or 8 goals a year just by standing at the far post, right?
Yeah, again, so many balls end up there. And, I mean, nowadays we see wingers putting up so many goals. There's so much opportunity from those spots to get one. When I was playing, I used to love going out wide, actually. And I never felt less of a threat when I was out wide. There's so many goals out there. And
Acosta swings this one in towards Ibiaga again, headed away by Dorsey. And it's a foot race between Ramiro and Bassi to get to the second ball. Ramiro gets there and keeps it in play. Finds Lucho. Now here's Urquide. Kaique in midfield, out to Pedrinho, who's popped up here on the left side.
Kenny, we were talking about some rivalry moments. I think I just forgot about this until just now, but do you remember when Dominic Kinnear kind of went off on you after one of the games? He was actually talking to me, and he's like, Steve, that guy Kenny Cooper is so big, he's so physical, and he falls down all the time. And I'm like, are you on the record? He's like, yeah, you're on the record.
So
you remember
funny.
that?
I do. What a great man, by the way. I have so much respect for him. He was a real winner. I actually, just downstairs, I ran into Eddie Robinson, who played against for years with the Dynamo. Such a great defender. It was nice to shake his hand, share some smiles, and to not be competing on the field. He was a tough competitor, man. But he's with their Unified Special Olympics team tonight, so we'll be back on the field with each other later on after the match for that game. But just a really cool moment, full circle moment to see him down there.
Houston's got another corner kick here. It's going to be Jack McGlynn again from the far side. The Houston fans up in the section above with some Dallas fans sandwiched in between. It's going to be another out-swinging service from Jack McGlynn, who's been the man from dead ball situations for the Dynamo. In towards the near post, and that one got a flick along the way. Last touch off of Anderson Julio. That'll be another chance from the corner.
Kenny, who was the best dead ball delivery specialist you ever played with?
It's got to be Mr. Michel. He was something else on those set pieces. He could probably still do it.
He can.
I know he can. Yeah. He was something else. His delivery, in the run of play and on dead balls was really something special that I personally got to benefit from quite a lot.
Suspended tonight after picking up a couple of yellow cards from the touchline last week. Got slapped with a fine as well. I'm sure he's in the building somewhere.
Is he not eligible to play then?
Hey, we could step in. I mean, we can get Kenny and Michelle. Why not make it a triple header? We got the Special Olympics game next, and we can go alumni game after that. Nice back heel from Escobar, and Bossi's going to swing this ball in. And good defending. Nolan Norris got his body in the way, and he won a free kick.
Yeah, Kowalczyk definitely got into the back of Nolan Norris. They're both headed toward goal.
It's really great to see Pedrinho, Nolan, and Collodi all out there.
And you worked with them at North Texas last year. You're out there at training for both the second team and the first team. Talk about their development so far into pretty much, first team regulars.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I mean, just with all their success last year, it's, they were ready and so deserving to step into this next phase. And they're so capable. They're all fantastic talents. And to see it translate at this level just shows you how the pathway can work. And I'm just really happy for them. They're all great guys, great workers, and huge talents. Huge talents.
In midfield there, won by Ramiro. It's going to get Dallas going here. Lucho Acosta off the left side. Norris goes on the overlap. Ball through the lines. Anderson Julio makes the run into the 18. Left-footed cross deflected up in the air. Musa challenging for it, but it's just out of his reach. And claimed there by Jonathan Bond.
Pablo Ortiz doing a pretty good job of just putting enough of a body on Musa there to sort of ride him out of the play.
And we know how good Musa is. We've already talked about it, Kenny, but coming off of an injury, when you've missed a month, how difficult can it be to sort of shake off that rust and get right back up to game speed like they're asking him to do from the start tonight?
Yeah, I think it can be, but man, I don't underestimate this guy. He knows where to be. Again, I call him Mr. Inevitable. It always feels like he's going to get on the end of something and put it away. So I have no doubts with this guy here.
I think Dynamo fans will feel the same way. 3 goals in 3 games with an assist as well. Matchups with Houston. A couple of wins and a draw so far since he joined the club. Oh, here's the ball through the lines, and it breaks nicely for Basi. Kowalczyk making the back post run. Basi from the right side over the head of Kowalczyk. He got that one wrong. And there's space quickly if Dallas wants to go the other way. Shaq Moore down the line for Pedrinho. Ortiz out to meet him on the halfway line. Oh, drop of the shoulder. Left Ortiz in his wake. Turns and finds Musa. Now Kayike driving through the middle. Trying to slip it back through towards Anderson Julio. And the Houston defense there alert and able to win possession back. That was Escobar. Really nice display of skill on the far side there from Pedrinho.
Reminded me of a young Steve Davis out there.
Said no one ever. Kenny said no one ever.
There's a turnover in midfield.
Oh, wait, you mean when the guy just fell down?
Yeah, the defender. The defender was the young Steve Davis.
Oh, man.
It's Ortiz who's now back on the ball, and Kenny Cooper's got jokes in the booth. Jack McGlynn back to Awadesu, who got his first MLS goal against Seattle last week, but then promptly got sent off.
That was just Kenny getting me back for reminding him of that Dominic Kinnear moment.
No, it's nice to be up here with you, Steve. You too, Ryan.
We'll have to turn it into a regular appearance.
Yeah, let's do it.
Especially if Dallas can get something going here offensively. You know, I was going to put out a bet to see how many likes on Twitter it would take to get you to recreate the iconic goal celebration if Dallas scores while you're in the booth here. That, of course, would require taking the shirt off, swinging it around.
I don't know if that's going to happen tonight.
Are those days long past? Here's Dallas building up the right side. Nice 1-2. Shaq Moore into the danger area. Awadesu there at the near post to send it out for a throw.
Yeah, Moore and Pedrinho there combining on a nice 1-2. Moore flashing the ball that cleared nicely by the Dynamo.
Pass from Ramiro there, looking for Pedrinho at the corner of the 18. Turned over to Artur. Everyone involved in that sequence hailing from Brazil. Anderson Julio commits a foul there to break up a counter.
You know, Griffin Dorsey gets up so well and so quickly for the Dynamo. Right now, the right back for the Dynamo is basically right wing, but it's been Shaq Moore that's been a little bit more of a factor come up his side for FC Dallas tonight.
Yeah, a couple of good opportunities for the Dallas right back, who's back in the 11 after missing out. Well, he was available on the bench, but never came in against RSL with a hamstring issue. There's a turnover. Lucho Acosta picking the pocket of the Dynamo player. Now Pedrinho into Acosta. 1-2 up the far side. Breaks for Pedrinho. Back to Acosta. Nice dummy there to leave it for Musa. Breaks back for Acosta. Corner of the 18. Bounces out to Kayike. Here's Acosta on the turn. Through the lines looking for Pedrinho. Just off the mark there. Ramiro on the counter press. Gets a foot to it. And then cleared away where Ibiaga wins the header. And now Shaq Moore. Touch past Escobar. And he's won a free kick. That's a few against Escobar. And there's some space for Shaq Moore to run into.
Ryan, one more time, though. We've seen this repeatedly this year.
Oh, Dallas going quickly here on the free kick in towards Pedrinho. Tried to hook it back across. So that was Lucho Acosta. And they've won a corner.
As that ball sort of got funneled into the middle, I'm watching out wide for FC. 4 guys, 5 men in the white shirt in that central channel. Everything just gets clogged up in there. They've just got to create some width either through those outside backs or some of those wingers staying a little higher, a little wider, higher up the field.
Pedrinho going to take the corner. Be an outswinger from the far side. Julio makes the run short. It's over his head in towards Urquide. Swing and a miss there. And he's whistled for a foul against Escobar before the ball came in, or as the ball came in. Urquide, who's let his men hear about it a couple different times so far this season in these corner kick situations. And it's important, Kenny, to show that steal, because these are really one-against-one battles, aren't they, in there for a corner?
He's a strong man. That's not someone I'd want to run into.
He really cleared Escobar out that time,
Yeah.
right before the corner kick.
Artur receives it here. Ramiro putting some pressure higher up the field, chases it back to Awadesu.
It's interesting, neither team really pressing much tonight. Houston's tried a couple of times, but I think because they're in a little different shape today, that looks like their press shape just doesn't exactly look cohesive.
I wonder if the weather report factored into that as well. It's certainly humid, a little tougher to catch your breath.
Yeah.
Ball with Houston on the far side. Kowalczyk going from outside to in. Dropped off for Ortiz. Kenny, we've only got you for a limited time, so I do want to ask you, with so much change, the head coaching change, so many new players, new faces, what's the key, in your opinion, for a team to build chemistry? Because I think that's been the story of the early season. We'll get to that in just a second. Houston building up on the far side. Kowalczyk chased to the corner flag by Pedrinho.
I mean, I think it happens in so many ways, in so many little ways. I mean, yesterday is a great example. They had a barbecue, and those are such important moments for the players to bond and spend time with each other. You build that culture of caring for one another. This is a really powerful force. And with so many new players, it's important that you get those bonds formed early. And Eric's done such a good job cultivating an amazing culture of that, and also competitiveness and instilling a winning mentality. I've been so inspired by him, I have to say. I love hearing him speak at the end of training, and his words are so inspiring. And I mean, he's a fierce competitor, and it's so great to have him back at the club. He's a winner. He's already won here. And I'm really optimistic for our future under him.
Houston with some sustained possession on the far side. Linger going to face up Pedrinho here. Drops it back to Ortiz. All 22 players pretty much in the Dallas defensive third there for a moment. Now it's spread out a little bit as Ka'ike wins possession back for Dallas. And Ka'ike dumped to the turf by Brooklyn Reigns. These little fouls starting to stack up here. Ka'ike involved in a lot of the action here through 30 minutes. Urquide into Ka'ike, under pressure here from McGlynn. He gets turned and finds Norris. Norris down the line, just over the head of Anderson Julio. Possession turned over to Houston. And Ramiro, nice tackle there. Wins it back now. Julio into Musa. Space again for Shaq Moore. A lot of it on the right side. Shaq Moore into the 18. Cross low along the ground, and Ortiz gets there first.
Second time tonight that Shaq Moore's had a chance to hit the early cross. He takes the extra touch and got a corner kick out of this one, but I just like to see him be a little bit more aggressive there.
Well, Steve, we've talked about wanting to see repeatable build-up style of play moments, and we've at least seen that now 3-4 times in the first half, where Dallas have combined and then found that run from Shaq Moore.
And the space is available out there, and they're playing it into space, and it's working.
Pedrinho sets up the corner, and the referee going to give him another chance at the service. It wasn't great there. Didn't beat the first man. But first, we're going to have a conversation. Musa and Jack McGlynn, the latest to get a talking to here. Hear the fans really getting behind the team here, looking for the opening goal. Now, two arms raised for Pedrinho, and they'll go short. Lucho Acosta off his right foot, bending towards the back post, but just a little bit too much air underneath that one. And it's too far for Urquide, behind for a goal kick.
Kenny, I don't know why, but I was thinking about the old Robertson Stadium. I know you played there a little bit. What do you remember about that place?
Yeah.
I remember the visitor locker room being tiny and with a weird roof. And
unfortunately, I'm not sure I have a lot of great memories from there. I was just when I was speaking with Eddie downstairs, Eddie Robinson, I was recalling. I mean, they were such a fantastic team back in the early 2000s. The championship winning team.
You mean the San Jose Earthquakes? Sorry.
And we had a lot of battles against them, and
the fans are definitely right on top of you at that stadium.
Oh yeah, but great atmospheres. And
here's some space on the far side for Pedrinho. Early cross in, looking for Musa again at the near post. It's Ortiz who's been busy.
That was a fierce rivalry, and continues to be, obviously. And they had so many good players back then. De Rosario, Stu Holden,
Brad Davis,
Richard Mulrooney, who also played here. I got to play with.
That's right, Ricardo Clark.
Yep. But if you could beat them, you knew you were a really good team, and so it was really meaningful if you could get a result against them back in the day.
Yeah. Dallas going with a little bit of a long throw there from Shaq Moore, akin to what we saw from Dallas homegrown Chris Richards in the FA Cup final today. Congratulations to him and Crystal Palace as they knocked off Man City at Wembley. Going the other way, Dorsey's cross easily picked off by Collodi, who will roll it out to Ramiro to spring another counter. Lucho Acosta going to put some air underneath this one, looking for Musa. Nice weight on it. He leaves it for Anderson Julio. He retrieves it. Dropped off for Nolan Norris. He's fouled by McGlynn. This is going to be a free kick in a dangerous position. And again, just surprised, these little free kicks. Nothing's brought a yellow card just yet.
This has been a great spot, though, and I don't know that Torrey Pinso's got that position exactly right, but I thought Nolan Norris did so well there, just to put on everything he had to make sure he got in front of McGlynn, forcing McGlynn to either take the foul or let Norris go on into the penalty area.
Ryan, are you shooting from here?
This is one you're bending towards the back post, so you hope it gets a little flick along the way. You might be shooting from here.
The shot cross?
You might be shooting from here.
Acosta, 100%.
We'll see what he has in mind. Left arm raised. Airs this one out towards the back post, looking for a teammate or Aguide. Gets the first contact, but can't steer it back in. He does keep it in play, though, on the far side. Now let's see what he's got in his bag. He sizes up the defender. Thought he might go for something cheeky there, but dropped it off.
He thought about it, didn't he?
He thought better of it, maybe. Though we've seen his skill on the dribble. Here's a ball out towards Acosta. Oh, pillow soft. First touch from him. And it breaks for Anderson Julio, top of the box. And Acosta trying to get the tricks and flicks out there. You heard the crowd with some oohs and ahs. Julio onto the loose ball, corner of the 18, into Musa. Inside the D, Musa trying to chop past the defender, but Awadesu stood tall there and sent it clear. And a needless tackle from Linger as Shaq Moore had got it back to Michael Collodi comfortably. And at some point, the yellow card's going to have to come out here. I don't have the foul number, but feels like a lot of them have been committed by those in orange tonight. We've got a quick break in play, so Kenny, I want to ask you about some of your duties later on tonight, the Special Olympics Unified Team. Just talk to me about that program and what it means to you. It's Dallas against Houston after this one tonight.
Oh, it's such an amazing experience. I mean, we train once a week. It's amazing to gather. We have just about everybody is a returning player from last year. So, you talk about those bonds and the relationships, and that's really what it's all about. And it's such a great time. We all went and had dinner together last night, and everyone's really excited. And they've worked hard to have this opportunity, and I know they're going to shine tonight. But how special to be able to play in Toyota Stadium in front of fans on this beautiful pitch. Wearing the crest. I mean, it's such an amazing experience that they get. I feel so honored to just share time with them and to help support them. Our coach Adam was an assistant last year, just a wonderful man, and Brooke Leverett does so much hard work to make sure that the experience is just the best, and it's really wonderful. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, the program means so much to the club. I know it means a lot to ownership as well. You always see the Hunt family out there supporting the team. So we play in the 37th minute here. Still scoreless in the Texas Derby. Dallas with a lot of pressure towards the Houston goal, but nothing really to call Jonathan Bond into question so far. Here's Musa putting some pressure on Ortiz, who gets it out to Escobar. Brooklyn Reigns, the 20-year-old midfielder. Some time on the ball for him. Now closed down by Ramiro.
Yeah, a little bit of an oddity. 38th minute. We haven't had a shot on goal for either team yet.
Oh, here's Dorsey beating Nolan Norris to the ball. He can drive outside to in, finds Bassi, and Linger with the shot, deflected way up in the air. Collodi comes and gets a punch to it, and got enough on it as he retreats back into his goal. Norris wins a nice header there over Dorsey.
Here we go.
And here's Julio, space to go, and Dallas can counter.
Yes!
Julio going to try and catch the keeper out off his line. Julio from way out. Oh, what a save!
Wow!
Jonathan Bond at full stretch as Julio saw him off his line and got it right on target, Kenny Cooper style. Somehow denied his second goal against Houston of the season.
Hey, I tell you what, sometimes it's a great shot, and sometimes it's just one athlete against another one, because that is a terrific save from Jonathan Bond. Backpedaling, he's got to know where he is, figure out where he is in space.
I mean, the storybook, it was written. Kenny Cooper in the booth for a halfway line goal. Jonathan Bond, we're going to have a word later. We could have worked something out there. I mean, that was prime Kenny Cooper. It was also prime Anderson Julio, who, of course, scored on Martin Paz like that last season. Dallas goes short from the corner. Lucho Acosta going to size up the defense. Ball across the edge of the 18. Here's Pedrinho, shot into traffic, blocked away. Now some space for Shaq Moore. He lines up a shot from way out, and again, Bond tested. Dallas appeals that he got a touch to it. Referee says no, it's going to be a goal kick.
You know, as soon as I saw that shot, I started thinking of Bobby Ryan, who was commentating the game when I scored that goal so many years ago, and I could just hear his voice in my mind. It was really cool to be up here and sat where he would have sat at one point. What an amazing man. What an important legacy and legend of our club. And
of course, his number living on through Paxton Pomykal.
That's right.
Who we will hopefully see in the second half, making his return last week. Here's a ball in behind. Linger will give chase, but Collodi, a strong action there, coming out off his line and sending it down the field.
Kenny, had you seen something that day, or was it something you thought about before?
I was always thinking about it. Steve, with my father being a goalie, it was something that he would share with me, just to look at the goalie off his line. And we had played a preseason game when I was at Man United, and I tried it off the kickoff at one point. Yeah, I think that was my favorite goal I've ever scored. And honestly, because Bobby was calling it, I love watching and hearing his voice. But it was definitely something I was looking for. I think my strength was just my willingness to kind of shoot from anywhere and do some things that were maybe unexpected.
McGlynn trying to drop this ball in behind. Dorsey gives chase. That one goes out of play. Well done. Waiting for the referee to spot the flag, and eventually she does. Well, Kenny, I know you've got something to do at halftime, so we thank you so much for joining us. It won't be the last time this season, especially if Anderson Julio is going to try and shoot from half field every time you come in the booth. We will definitely have you back. Thank you so much for joining us, Kenny.
So grateful for you guys.
And we'll see you next time.
Always grateful for you, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
Ryan, how confident does Michael Collodi look out there tonight?
I mean, it was the same in RSL. It was the same from minute one in MLS for him. Oh, here's a nice nutmeg from Musa to Lucho. Now out to Shaq Moore on the far side. Closed down by Escobar. Moore trying to size up his options. Drops it off for Ramiro. Julio, confident as well, coming off a goal against RSL. Scoring against Houston earlier in the season. Nearly had the goal of the season there. Norris on a dribble in the midfield, turns it over. Now there's numbers in the attack for Houston. Out to Jack McGlynn on the near side. Bassi goes on the overlapper. Aguirre defending. And it is towards Bassi, but he can't wrap his hips around it. It's towards the near post where Collodi puts it behind for a corner.
I'm just going to say, Peter Musa, Anderson Julio, Pedrinho, Shaq Moore, Lucho Acosta. I'm sorry, but they're all five walking back. And you just, I see orange numbers flooding forward. And, everybody's got to get on their horse in that moment.
They've conceded a corner here. McGlynn has tracked down a spare ball to take. He's hearing it from the supporters section. I think it's the first time he's taken one from the near side.
He's gone near post with his previous two.
Arms out in a T shape here, signaling something to his teammates. And again, plenty of pushing and shoving in the area. And it's all coming from Franco Escobar.
Well, it's Owadesu and Isaze right now. That's who's getting the talking to. That's who's having the big contact, the heavyweight contact in there.
I think now if we talk about all the different conversations, almost everybody's got a talking to at some point. Different matchups inside the box.
Fouls right now almost even. 8 called against Houston, 7 against FC Dallas.
And we're finally set to take this corner kick. I think. Still sort of staring down the contact between Odesu and Urigide. And now the whistle goes, and it will be McGlynn to serve it. And immediately she blows the whistle for that contact against Odesu. And this time, the referee calling it close. Benefits Dallas for sure. And the first yellow card is out for Brooklyn Raines, who honestly was just a little bit stupid there.
It was silly. Collodi was about to take the free kick, and Brooklyn Raines just sort of put his foot on top of the ball, rolled it back behind the FC Dallas goalkeeper. Easy call for Tori Pinso.
And that is the first booking, and here in the 44th minute. Odesu has that one blocked out by Anderson Julio as he tried to go long. Well, Steve, how do you evaluate this first half? Because I think we've seen more cohesive attacking soccer than at large points of this season, but unable to find the breakthrough so far.
What I've asked for from FC Dallas is to find a couple of things, put a couple of tools in the belt. And one of the things they found tonight is that space opening up on that right side. Pedrinho tilts in, and somebody like Acosta just...
Here's Collodi out off his line. Nice first touch. And then finds Nolan Norris into Ramiro. Ramiro has that one taken away by Brooklyn Raines. Again, nice involvement from Collodi. But Dallas can't build out. McGlynn finds Bassi. Bassi back to McGlynn. Leaves it for Dorsey. Wide right. Cross swung in. Ibiaga gets a left foot around it. And out for a throw on the near side.
Yeah, FC Dallas finding that open space with the early ball outright into the onrushing Shaq Moore. It's really been effective tonight. They just haven't been able to put together that final combination, that final pass.
Right now it's the Houston right back. The ball in his hands, waiting to take the throws. We await the board to indicate how much stoppage time we'll play in this first half. Second throw in a row for Houston, and McGlynn's able to work it there to win a corner kick from Nolan Norris.
That's going to be the 5th one for Houston Dynamo. We've talked about how dangerous they can be on these thanks to McGlynn's really accurate set-piece delivery.
Never saw a board, so I wonder if this will be the last action of the first half. Dallas with a corner kick to defend. McGlynn with an in-swinger from the near side. Right arm raised this time. In towards the back post. Header won there by Petter Musa, and that will do it here in the first half. A hotly contested one as we expect in the Texas Derby, but no breakthrough either way. We'll be looking for that opening goal in the second 45, and we'll break down what we saw in the first 45 here on the halftime show. It's Houston Dynamo 0, FC Dallas 0 here on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi everyone, it's Marco Farfan, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 45 and change here at Toyota Stadium in the Texas Derby, it is FC Dallas 0, Houston Dynamo 0 in a hard-fought, hard-fouled contest, pretty much exactly like we expected. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas Halftime Show, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined by our halftime crew, Steve Davis and Garrett Meltzer, in just a moment. But first, let's get you tonight's halftime stats, which are brought to you by UMB Bank. Possession battle goes the way of the visitors, 54-46. 4 shots for each team, 1 shot on goal for each team. 4 corners for Dallas, 5 for Houston. Dallas has been offside once. 1 save apiece for Jonathan Bond and Martin Poss, although the 1 save for Bond maybe should count for 2 or 3, as we'll talk about, I'm sure, in just a minute. 9 fouls for Houston, 7 fouls for Dallas. Yet despite that, only 1 yellow card. That went to Brooklyn Raines for dissent in the 44th minute. And we bring in the voices of our halftime show. It's Steve Davis and it's Garrett Meltzer. And Garrett, I'll start with you. It's a Houston derby, so it wouldn't be one without a very physical game. 16 fouls so far. Not many shots, but man, we almost had a very wonderful moment with Anderson Julio.
Yeah, a physical contest, but not overly so. I mean, no cynical challenges by any means. Just the usual argy-bargy that you get in a Texas derby. But overall, I was very encouraged by FC Dallas. I think that could easily be their best 45 minutes of the 2025 season. The trio of Petter Musa, Pedrinho, and Lucho Acosta in particular, I thought they were very free-flowing in the final third, and the stats don't really bear that out in terms of shots on target and whatnot. The only shot on target coming from midfield from Anderson Julio. But outside of that, oftentimes the shot didn't quite come off, but there's a lot of very good combination play happening in and around Houston's box from FC Dallas. I think Eric Quill makes no changes, just keep going, because eventually Dallas is going to break through.
And Steve, I think you said it really well as we were coming to an end there in the first half, where we've been begging Dallas, hey, just find something you can do repetitively to generate results. And Dallas is really doing that on that right far channel, where whether it was Shaq Moore, Lucho, Pedrinho, somebody would get wide that would open up that space in the box. And while Dallas hasn't converted to a goal yet, if they keep doing it, good things will come at some point.
Yeah, well, we talked about trust, right? And so it's been Shaq Moore, honestly. Pedrinho tilts inside. He leaves that space open out there. And the trust happens when it's been mostly Lucho Acosta. I think Anderson Julio might have hit one of the balls out there as well. But you just play the ball into space and trust that Shaq Moore will get there. And he has gotten there. I think Houston's defended those crosses pretty well. A couple of times I wanted Shaq Moore to hit that first time instead of taking the extra touch. I think one time he had Anderson Julio at the back post. But again, like you said, you're getting that. You're getting into the offensive third in a really effective way, and that's the first step to that. Now, as far as changes, I don't know how much about any changes. I don't know how long we expect Petter Musa to go tonight, because Eric Quill did tell us they're going to play him for a half, and they'll see how it goes. They don't want to push him too far.
And, let's talk about Musa a little bit here, because I think, last week, definitely not the best Moose showing, but he was coming back from a month on the shelf. He's back tonight, and obviously not the optimal Moose that we've seen, but this is much closer to the dynamic playmaker that scored 16 last year for Dallas.
Absolutely. No, he looks pretty sharp to me. Obviously, he didn't really get a lot of touches in the box where you want him getting the ball. But in terms of his build-up play, I thought he was excellent. A few of those outlet balls to, in particular, Shaq Moore, really opened the game for Dallas multiple times. And I really hope he's got at least an extra 15, 20 minutes in him, because that trio that I already mentioned, that up top, man, they're cooking up there. They just need a few more opportunities, because I think it's going to be one of those three who finds the breakthrough.
And, we talked about Steve at the end of postgame last week. Should Shaq Moore come in that last 10 minutes? Well, tonight through 45, he's been extremely lively, and it's looking like all that rest he got has paid off.
Yeah, like I said, though, I just wanted to see him be a little bit more aggressive. Go ahead and hit that ball first time. Trust that, somebody's trusted him to be out there. Trust that somebody will be arriving at the back post. By the way, Logan Farrington spent a little extra time putting on the shin pads over on the bench, so he might be coming in immediately.
Well, we may talk about those changes in the second half, but you're one of the late changes for Dallas. Michael Collodi in for Martin Poss. Martin dealing with a little bit of an illness, so Collodi gets the start. And so far, he has done Collodi things tonight, for lack of a better term. He has been the serviceable, if not above average backup that we've been looking for from him.
Yeah, didn't have a ton of saves to make. FC Dallas' back line has been doing a good job closing down any attackers from Houston, so very few shots coming his way. But what we talked about that he's very good at is with his feet and coming off his line. He's been very proactive in that, especially coming off his line. I thought maybe only one time he kind of made a mistake. There was one moment where I think the FC Dallas defender, I'm forgetting who it was right now, probably Osazo Urugide, had a long ball over the top, had it covered. But Michael Colody came out, won it anyway. Kind of a nervy situation, but he did the right thing, won the ball, found the outlet pass, and then one really great moment where he got a punch out over his own defender and a Houston player. So a good 45 from the backup.
But in that moment, he looked so confident. And the moment, I know the ball you're talking about where he comes out, almost to the point of, is it overconfidence? Is it a little bit arrogance? But I love it. He looks so confident coming off. You'd think this is a guy that's 30 years old and has been playing at the top level for 10 years. I mean, he just looks absolutely unflappable back there.
And Eric Quill mentioned that. He mentioned Michael Colodi's mentality is his greatest asset. He's just so mentally strong. Even the mistake he made in the Open Cup 2 weeks ago where he got chipped from midfield, look, he's doing the exact same things. Like, he's playing off his line. That didn't faze him at all, and he's back there looking really confident, like you said.
Before we look at second half action, Steve, I do want to ask about one more change Dallas made, and that was bringing Pedrinho into the lineup. We've talked, Garrett's talked about that kind of three-man triangle between him, Acosta, and Musa. But the question has been, can he be an effective starter? And through 45 so far, has he been, top 99 percentile? No, but I think he's been effective in what he needs to do.
So I think we're seeing a pretty clear pattern here. Pedrinho is a guy that may not have a big impact in the match in terms of volume, right? But he makes moments. And, you can't have a team full of those guys. You got to have guys who are more involved in more ways and in more significant ways. But you can have one or two, and right now that's Pedrinho. Would you like to see him involved a few more times? Yeah. But when he gets on the ball, he makes things happen.
Well, let's look at the second half here, and let's start with the option that looks to be potentially happening very quickly, if not out of half, Garrett, and that's Logan Farrington potentially in for Paramusa. How does that change what Dallas is going to do, if at all, in the second half?
I don't think it changes too much. I think they're very similar players in terms of profile. Maybe the one thing is Paramusa has done a really good job dropping in a little bit deeper and then find those outlet passes. That's not Logan Farrington's game so much. He likes to drift wider rather than deeper a little bit more often, and he works incredibly hard off the ball. That's probably where his one strength over Musa is in the press. He just hurries defenders. He hurries the goalkeeper. And, I mean, a few times Musa had an opportunity to put a lot of pressure on Houston's goalkeeper and didn't seem to do so. That could be an Eric Quill directive. Who knows? But I have a feeling Logan Farrington will do that. So it could be a more stressful half for Houston's back line if Farrington is the early change.
Can I call a 20-second timeout and make sure we don't get through this halftime show without talking about Anderson Julio?
Oh, no, of course. Yes. How did I forget Anderson Julio was scoring a worldie?
In a relatively low-event first half. I mean, heavens. I mean, Anderson Julio from a few steps inside his own half. I mean, he hit a absolutely perfect shot. And sometimes you just got to, applaud the goalkeeper because Jonathan Bond, who has certainly had his bad moments against FC Dallas going back a couple of years, I mean, it was a great shot and an absolutely fantastic save. It's got to be one of the highlights of the weekend on both sides, really. The shot and the save.
Yeah, I feel like if that had gone in, that was a goal of the week, if not goal of the year contender. And since it didn't, it'll be a save of the year contender for Bond there.
What did you think about it, Garrett?
I mean, super impressive. In that moment where Anderson gets the ball, he's just, lightning shot out of a bottle, just straight through the defense. And then, he had two passes on, so I was kind of looking which pass he's going to take. And then I just see him unleash one. And, right when he hit it, I'm like, oh, that's goal bound. That could easily go in. And it would have. It was right under the crossbar. But really good backpedaling from Bond to tip it over the crossbar. And we were kind of joking in the press box. If that's Jimmy Maurer, of course, the former FC Dallas goalkeeper who's on Houston's bench tonight, if Jimmy Maurer's in, a lot of miles in those legs. Does Jimmy have that backpedaling speed? I'm not quite sure, but
he's not as big as Bond either. I mean, Bond did every bit of his height on that one.
But Jimmy's also a very cerebral goalkeeper. He might have been a little bit deeper in his goal, and Anderson Julio might not have attempted this shot. So different styles is what it is.
We hope Martin Potts feels better, but if he's somewhere watching that game, he probably didn't feel very good right then watching, or maybe he felt great watching Anderson Julio do that. I'm not sure. We've got about a minute here, Steve, so I want to ask you specifically about two players, Paxton Pomykal, Marco Farfan. They're both on the bench. They're both available tonight. In what scenario do you see those guys coming in, and maybe for how long?
Paxton for sure, just because you've got to keep reintegrating into the team. Marco Farfan, I don't know. I mean, Nolan Norris isn't doing anything wrong. I mean, he's out there kicking people and stopping people and tackling, so I think he's done okay. He's gotten forward a couple of times, so maybe Marco can come back, but you got a busy schedule ahead, so Paxton for sure, Marco not sure about.
Well, we will see. 45 minutes of action down, 45 to go here at Toyota Stadium. It is still 0-0 here in the Frisco edition of the Texas Derby. When we return, it'll be Ryan and Steve getting ready for the second half of action here as El Capitan is on the line here in North Texas. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa. Enjoy 36 holes of championship golf and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Well, just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Hi everyone, it's Paxton Palmacall, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
The stadium, FC Dallas and Houston Dynamo fighting not only for 3 points in Major League Soccer, but for El Capitan, the historic trophy, the cannon that represents dominance in this Texas Derby. And Steve, we thought there might be one change at the halftime break, and it looks like that will be the case, as Logan Farrington will replace Petter Musa.
I think it's not just tonight, but it's a busy schedule coming up for FC Dallas. They need Petter Musa, so I think this is Eric Quill just being a little cautious, a little conservative, and we know he's got a good backup there in Logan Farrington.
Yeah, no need to be concerned. Now that it's happened, we can tell you that he expected that. We talked to him at training yesterday. He said 45 minutes, and then we'll reassess and see. Looks like Houston will make a change as well, as they are set to bring on a left back, Felipe Andrade. And we'll see how that shifts, how they want to line up here.
Well, I'm sure he'll come in for Franco Escobar. I would think so.
I don't see Ortiz, so I think Escobar might slide into center back.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
I know Andrade himself will play center back for the first time at the MLS level. Yeah, a couple of appearances at left back before this, the young Brazilian. And he's going to be thrown right into the fire here. A new matchup, the Dallas center forward swap and the Houston center back swapped, as Farrington will look for his second goal of the season to get his team on the board, as we are in search of the opening goal as we get back underway here in the second half in the Texas Derby, all the way back to Michael Collodi. Go long out to the right side where Farrington flicks it along but can't quite keep it in play. Going to be out for Escobar to take the throw. Keeps his spot at left back. Looks like Andrade will play as the right center back. Loose touch there from Reigns. Turns it over to Shackmore. Now Lucho Acosta on the turn. 3 defenders around him. And he runs right out of play there. A lot of 0-0 games across the league, and that's what we've got here through 45 minutes. A lot of teams playing on short rest can certainly affect score lines in that way. Dallas building up here on the right side. Ka'ike, a lot of space in midfield. Rolls it through the lines looking for Farrington, trying to get turned. And he just about spun Andrade, but couldn't get a foot on the pass. It rolled through to Jonathan Bond, who had the goal-saving moment in the first half as Julio tried to catch him out off his line. Shot from halfway, requiring a fantastic save for the 31-year-old veteran in goal. Escobar surveys the options ahead of him, drops it back for Abudesu. Houston have been struck with injuries in goal, and across the back line this season it's been pretty chop and change for Ben Olsen. Escobar returning from a 2-game suspension. Abudesu returning from suspension as well tonight in the back line for Houston. Here's Dorsey, who's been ever present, bringing it up the right side. Dorsey, who was sent off last trip to Toyota Stadium. Here's Kowalczyk. Dropped out wide left. Bassi faces up Shaq Moore. Cross blocked. Ka'ike gets there first. And he's won a free kick from Artur.
Yeah, Artur got his cleat up there on Ka'ike. Ka'ike, by the way, pretty solid in the middle in this 4-2-3-1 look. Playing alongside Ramiro. And we expected them. We talked about how they would have to sort of communicate and deal with Jack McGlynn in the middle, but Jack McGlynn is lined up in a different space today. He's out on the right side of the 4-4-2, and I think it's kept him quiet in the attack, although he's still effective on those set-piece deliveries, just not on the ball as much from that spot.
Fourth foul won by Ka'ike in midfield for Dallas. 48 minutes. Julio losing out on the halfway line. Dallas had committed some numbers up the field. Reigns on the dribble through midfield. Julio tried to win it back, but commits the foul, trying to atone for the mistake there. Game that's been heavily contested in midfield. Not a lot in either 18-yard box to speak of in the first half.
Kalodi has been very busy in terms of, not very busy, he's been busy in terms of getting off his line quickly and sort of snuffing out issues before they become bigger issues, but hasn't had to make a big save tonight. Bond, of course, with that highlight-making save.
Here's McGlynn coming off the right side into midfield. Dropped off for Reigns. Swung out to the left side for Kowalczyk. Escobar goes on the overlap. Kowalczyk bending this one towards the back post. Looking for Linger. He chests it down. It finds Escobar. And then Shaq Moore, not going to take any chances, just puts it behind for a corner.
Well, 4 minutes in, second time tonight, or second time in the second half, rather, that Houston overloads that left side and finds that quick 2v1 and then makes something dangerous out of it.
Linger actually got a head to it, but Norris putting some pressure on him meant he couldn't get it on target. Linger, who made a swift introduction to life with the Dynamo, scoring a 95th minute equalizer in his debut and then scoring the next game against Austin. Scoreless since. Nearly got on the board there. Houston goes short from the corner, and Dallas is going to chase them up the field. Now Artur back to Bassi the taker. Reigns out to the far side. It's Escobar off the left foot. Out of the way by Ramiro. Pedrinho fighting for the loose ball. Doesn't get there in time. Player down for Houston. And looking in some pain as it's sent back in. Shaq Moore wins the header. The Houston player still down as this one's headed out for a goal kick. Well, now he's back to his feet. It's Kowalczyk. Dallas starting a stretch of 5 games in 14 days tonight. They'll be making a cross-country journey starting in New York on Wednesday in the Open Cup. And then next Saturday against Seattle in MLS play. And then to Cincinnati on Wednesday, and then back here to face Philadelphia.
Right, every time Houston's tried to press tonight, Dallas moving out of there pretty easily. Some of that is just Kalodi being very good with his feet.
Ka'ike going to switch the ball out to Shaq Moore. Didn't quite get the switch right, so Moore will have to retrieve it instead of taking the space that was there. A little bit of a needless giveaway there from Shaq Moore. Just rolled it in towards Ramiro with a player on his back. And Ramiro couldn't keep it, but neither can the Dynamo as Dorsey takes a loose touch out of play.
Back behind it, Ramiro having a little talk with Shaq Moore.
It's an uncharacteristic moment for the experienced right back. He's got space ahead of him here. Ibiaga on the ball. Does swing it out to Shaq Moore. Early ball looking for Pedrinho off the mark. And Shaq Moore goes and tries to press and win it back, but Houston in possession. McGlynn switching it from the far side to the near for Escobar. Knotted down for Bassi. 52nd minute, scoreless here between FC Dallas and the Houston Dynamo.
Houston started to pick on Pedrinho over there, catching him out of position.
He's wrong side of Bassi here, who gets turns, finds Linger. Now out to Dorsey inside the 18. Dorsey on the dribble. Left-footed shot deflected right up in the air, and Collodi quick out off his line to come and claim. Rolls it into midfield. Kaique has some time on the ball. And finds Lucho Acosta, who can dribble through the center circle out to Pedrinho. And again Acosta. Acosta scored in the Open Cup, but has been held scoreless for a run of MLS games now. Free kick there, won by Pedrinho. Foul committed by Artur.
So Pedrinho comes inside to try to open up that space for Shaq Moore. And the way Houston have now adjusted to that is they're saying, okay, if Pedrinho's coming inside, as soon as we win the ball, we're going to send the extra player out to our left side and catch him in a position where he can't defend over there. So Dallas is going to have to adjust to that.
Sometimes the minutia of the tactics are hard to spot, but I think it's been pretty clear what both teams have been trying to do tonight and the adjustments they've made. Dallas goes short from the free kick. A lot of space for Ramiro, who can now lift it in. Osazi makes the run. It's Reigns who gets there first. Heads clear. And Kaique retrieves the loose ball. Nice ball in the midfield for Ramiro, who can turn towards goal. And Bassi back defending. They were the one possession back, and then win a foul as well.
No, it was Farrington was the one that snuck in there, tackled the ball, and then was taken down immediately.
Well, that changes things. It's going to be a free kick in an attacking position, a potential shooting range.
Logan Farrington doing Farrington things there.
This one looks like it's probably 7 yards outside the 18. Lucho Acosta, ball in his hand. Pedrinho there as well. Acosta got a free kick on target against RSL last week at the near post. Pedrinho scored a free kick, a couple of them for North Texas last year in the next pro. It's going to be a 4-player wall for the Dynamo set by Jonathan Bond.
It's like Pedrinho's still trying to talk Acosta out of it, but I don't think that's going to work. I think this is going to be Argentine over Brazilian here.
Now Pedrinho's going to go for the dummy as if he's left-footed. And Acosta will line up the free kick. It's Lucho Acosta, that one just over the bar. Had the right shape on it. It sent Bond sprawling, but he couldn't get it to dip down in time. Well, the best way to experience FC Dallas soccer is with a season ticket membership, which has a host of benefits that make this the best option in sports, including a complimentary MLS season pass membership, discounts on concessions at Toyota Stadium, and much more. You can find the membership that's perfect for you at fcdallas.com/memberships. Bond goes long. Easy for Uriguide to bring that one down and quickly find Ramiro. Dallas attacking towards both sets of supporters. Houston on the far side, up in the corner. And the Dallas supporters at full voice in the Rhine down to our right. Collodi not going to be challenged on the ball here. He's outside the 18, splitting the center backs. Norris in towards Acosta. That one just off the mark, but out of play off Artur.
Norris doing all the defending work tonight. His passing hasn't been quite as sharp as his defensive work.
And Kaique, the 5th time he's been fouled. And this time it was Bassi.
And that's what Torrey Pinto is indicating. No more fouls on KK.
I don't know if I've ever seen that, the persistent infringement on one player signal. It's a good one.
You see it sometimes.
It makes sense.
But usually, it's on the team's central attacking midfielder, the playmaker. Not that often on one of the defensive midfielders.
It's been a little bit of everybody picking on the pit bull. Here's Pedrinho through the lines, ahead to Anderson Julio. Julio tripped up, corner of the 18, and now he's won a free kick. Looks like Owodesu, or maybe Andrade. It was Andrade. Commits the foul there.
That brings Ben Olsen and all the coaches out of the dugout just to the left of us here.
So this one, 5 yards outside the 18 on the corner on the far side. So it's a chance for an in-swinger from Acosta. And Dallas have gotten the targets into the 18-yard box here. Ibiaga, who scored against Houston last year. Farrington in there. Uriguide. Jonathan Bond sets a one-player wall in front of Lucho Acosta. Make sure he doesn't try anything towards the near post. The Houston line set right at the penalty spot, 12 yards from goal. Pedrinho and Acosta over it. 2 arms raised for Lucho Acosta. Off his right foot into the danger area, flicked along the way. And out for what will be a corner kick. Maybe. It will. Off a Houston head last.
Yeah, I couldn't catch. There's a lot of bodies in there.
Yeah, it came off Andrade.
Andrade was a guy, yeah.
Another set piece, this time from the corner on the near side. Under the Dallas supporters. Lucho Acosta with Ramiro as an option to go short. 6 inside the 18 to aim at. That's Acosta on the approach. Flights this one towards the top of the box. Finds Pedrinho. Pedrinho now lines up a shot from way out. And that one way off target.
Acosta wanted it back.
Didn't really set him up well.
And wanted Pedrinho to play it in that Man City zone, that right center channel.
Well, Dallas is back home on Saturday, May 31st, hosting the Philadelphia Union. To attend that match, tickets and more information, please visit fcdallastickets.com. 59th minute. Dallas with a couple of home wins on the season, just one in MLS play. That was against Kansas City over a month ago. Last week, a draw here against Real Salt Lake. This one, a lot of weight on it, especially with those road games to come. "30 minutes plus stoppage time for either team. Trying to find the go-ahead goal. Dorsey waved back here to take the throw from 10 yards closer to his own goal. Now launches it down the line. Linger will give chase. And he trips up Uriguide pretty clearly there. And he gives away the free kick.
It's going to be the 15th foul against Houston. 8 whistled against Dallas so far.
There's Kaique on the turn. 2 defenders on his back. Lifts it ahead towards Farrington, who hasn't really got involved in the 15 minutes since coming on. Kaique now the one to commit a foul inside the center circle.
Kaique in the middle of a lot tonight, huh?
That's how I like a center midfielder. Always involved.
He's got a problem with his hand, by the way. He keeps sort of grabbing at it.
Houston building up here with Owodesu, as we've played an hour now in the Texas Derby. A draw would mean that El Capitan stays in Frisco after Dallas went down to Houston and won on opening night. But a draw certainly wouldn't feel like something worth celebrating, I don't think, for Dallas in the way their home form has gone.
Shaq Moore, pretty tough foul there against Kowalczyk. Right in front of the Houston bench.
Houston goes short. Swing it from left to right. Now Andrade, halftime substitute on the ball. Lifts it down the line. Linger trying to hold off Uriguide into the 18 now. And Uriguide comes away with it. Those two still clashing now down towards the corner flag. Uriguide trying to get turned and eventually dribbles out of play. He'll retreat. And it'll be a Houston throw. Looks like they might try and lift this one into the box. Owadesu up from the back as a target. Dorsey going to try and put some air underneath this one. Griffin Dorsey in towards the corner of the 6-yard box. The Houston player hits the deck, and Dallas able to head it clear. Now Reigns trying to bring it out of the sky. Julio got a touch to it. Now Ramiro ahead towards Farrington. Bounce out again towards Ramiro. Headed down for Acosta. Oh, nice feet there from Lucho Acosta. Now space ahead of Shaq Moore, who can drive up the right side. Shaq Moore into the feet of Pedrinho. 1-2, back to Moore. Julio waits in the middle. Cross blocked at the near post. And out for a Dallas corner. And that overload the left and then attack the right side. That was the formula in the first half. We saw it in action there once again for Dallas, leading to this corner.
Yeah, 6th corner kick for FC Dallas. They just need to do a little more to make a little something more happen on these corner kicks.
Well, they're without their usual set-piece coordinator, and Michel, who's suspended after his sending off last week. It's Matt Watson out directing things here as Lucho Acosta raises the left arm, flights this one into the box in towards Ibeaga, who gets the head to it. Uriguide swings a foot at it as well. Houston work it clear. Pedrinho back in towards Acosta, up the near side. 1v1 here with Artur. Drop with the shoulder. Lucho Acosta, low cross blocked by Artur. And the clearance straight up into the air. Breaks again for Acosta. Acosta chipping it towards the back post, but Bond able to catch it and start the counterattack right away. Dallas going to have to stream back here defensively as it's out in front of McGlynn. And McGlynn cuts back, now switching ball to Bossi. Still 3 in the attack for Houston, but the impetus gone as Dallas do get bodies back that time.
Yeah, Dallas doing a pretty good job that time of getting numbers back. Pedrinho leading the charge back.
Ramiro's at right back for the moment. Shaq Moore taking his spot in midfield. Kovalchuk's going to run at Ramiro, finds Bossi. Artur into Reigns. Houston in the attacking third here in the 63rd minute. Looking for a breakthrough. It's McGlynn. McGlynn going to line one up from way out. Oh, what a strike. And it's just too much space for a man of his quality. That one beats Michael Collodi before he even saw it.
I mean, I was just about to say McGlynn had taken up a good spot. A little bit more narrow this time. He was in that right center channel, and as he got the ball, there was nobody within 15 yards of him. Dallas had done such a good job before this of sort of taking the space away from him, and this time, I don't know who was slow to get over there, but by heavens, he just had way too much room. But what a shot from McGlynn.
Yeah, it's Ka'ike pointing towards Julio, who kind of jogs towards him, and that's not going to be good enough, as this one from the best part of 35 yards out flashes towards the back post and beats Michael Collodi.
I mean, take nothing away. That is a shot. And it's moving away from Collodi. Collodi actually, he takes a little step to his left. And I think that's the way the ball originally comes off, but as it swerves out, he just can't get back over to his right quickly enough, as that ball had a lot of sting on it.
Oh, we mentioned McGlynn hit the post against Dallas in the season opener, and he goes one better here as he opens the scoring in the 64th minute. And Dallas need to find a response like they did down in Houston.
When they had the 4-2-3-1 in action before, you know, there was a couple of issues, and getting enough defense off the wings was one of them.
Ramiro ahead to Nolan Norris, advanced from left back, flights this one in towards Farrington, but that one claimed by Jonathan Bond. And this feels like a real pivotal moment in the season now, Steve.
Awadasu doing a really good job that time of just getting a body on Farrington and making sure that ball could reach goalkeeper Bond. And yeah, you're right. Dallas 1 win and 5 so far at home, just 4 points out of a possible 15. And the schedule from here, Ryan, you're right. It's a bear. They need this one.
Houston looking to add on. Kovalchuk to Escobar. Bossi, corner of the 18. Reigns combining. And now Kovalchuk towards the back post. Collodi sprawling save, and he's able to catch it as well. Rolled out to Ramiro. Houston into what looks like a mid-block defensively now.
25 minutes for Dallas. I hope that we don't wait too long to see some changes from Eric Quill.
Saw Paxton Pomykal head towards the bench right after the goal went in, but I don't see him down there now, ready to get into the match. McGlynn on it once again, moving from right to left, finds Kowalczyk on the near side of the 18. Kowalczyk floats that one in, easy for Kolodi to catch. And Kolodi going to launch this one ahead towards Anderson Julio, who will give chase. Andrade gets there first. And Jonathan Bond out to Awadesu. Acosta putting the pressure on. Awadesu has to play this one out for a throw. Moore with the throw into midfield for Ramiro. Ramiro trying to stab that one out wide right for Acosta. It's picked off by Kowalczyk. I don't think the Dallas response has really been there. 3 minutes since conceding. Time on the ball for Andre Linger at the halfway line. I do see Paxton down with the substitutes warming up again. So nobody's imminent for Dallas here in the 67th minute. The one change at halftime, Farrington replacing Musa, who was on a minutes restriction. For the first time, failed to score against Houston. And now his 4th appearance, albeit a brief one. Ball down the line, defended by Norris. Last touch out off of Houston for a throw for Logan Farrington, taking quickly to Ka'ike. Ka'ike into Acosta. Acosta out to Shaq Moore on the near side. Again, a lot of space for the Dallas right back. Everybody makes runs towards the back post, leaving Moore all on alone. And he tries to pick out Anderson Julio, who came across to support.
Thought it was a pretty good entry ball there. Julio just missed it. Julio making a pretty good inside-out run. Just took his eyes off the ball. I wonder if, as Paxton Pomykal gets ready to come in, and Abubakar, I was about to say, I wonder if there'll be some kind of shape change, because right now Dallas, we talked about it, they're just not getting enough width. If Shaq Moore isn't up the right side, there's just no width in the attack.
Your one out-and-out winger on the bench is Bernard Kamungo, who started week 1 against Houston. And looks like it'll be Pomykal and Abubakar. There are, of course, other ways to create width tactically. There's a ball through the lines, finds Kowalczyk. Ramiro wrong side here. Kowalczyk on the dribble. Out to Bassi. Bassi back to Franco Escobar. Goes on the overlap. Bassi returns it to the number 2 for Houston. He's now chased back. Pedrinho able to poke it away from him. Julio to Pedrinho, who's got some space here, waiting for the runs ahead of him. Pedrinho out to Acosta here on the near side. Acosta can run at Brooklyn Reigns. Right into the 18-yard box, 1-2 with Pedrinho, back towards Acosta, but Reigns gets a foot on it.
Well, they both had the right idea there, and Acosta was just a half step slow in getting that return ball in the 1-2.
Those changes will take place the next time the ball goes out for FC Dallas. Houston right now with time on the ball.
The other reason you'd like to see Dallas start making some changes is they got a tough road ahead, including a lot of travel and big Open Cup match in the round of 16 of the Open Cup coming up in New York Wednesday.
Houston working it up the near side. Brooklyn Reigns, time on the ball. Andrade out to Dorsey. McGlynn, the goal scorer. If you're just tuning in, you could probably picture the goal. He's done it a few times now.
I mean, what a pickup he's been for them.
Ball does finally go out of play after Julio got a foot on it, and it will be Ka'ike replaced by Paxton Pomykal. Ka'ike heads out on the far side. And Nolan Norris replaced by Lawless Abubakar. That does indicate it should be a 3 at the back now.
So Shaq Moore will come over and play as the right side of wing back, we would assume.
There's the applause for Paxton, who made his return from injury after nearly over a year away. Last week against RSL, this one thrown right into the fire against the Dynamo, trailing by a goal. Ramiro wins it back in midfield. Pedrinho trying to get turned. Checks it back for Abubakar, first involvement for him. Chipped ahead for Shaq Moore, now into the 18. Awadesu on the retreat. And the cross just got a touch on it, and that allowed Bond to come and claim before Farrington got a shot away.
Nice little chipped-in ball for Shaq Moore, who looked like he just sort of had a little hesitation there with his feet. Something happened, or trying to get his feet sorted out, and didn't get the ball across the way he wanted to.
Bond rolls it out, gets it back from Awadesu, under pressure here from Acosta. Farrington now puts pressure on Awadesu. He went down, one of the foul not given. They also have a throw in here. Into Ramiro in midfield. Chipped ahead for Shaq Moore. He had a feeling it's going to be key if Dallas can find some offense here late. Thought he had a corner, but last touch was off him according to the referee. It'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, the issue for me though is Shaq Moore looks a little tired right now. He's coming off a little bit of an injury.
The issue for me is that there's no other right back. And that's been an ongoing concern.
But he's not really playing right back right now. He's playing as a wing back, and they do have, some options there perhaps.
Andrade goes long and direct. Linger will chase this one, but it goes all the way through to Kalodi. Bubakar into Pomykal. Pomykal out to Shaq Moore. He's going to have to work to keep this one in play. Sliding tackle there from Escobar, and that's a bad one. Not sure what it's going to take for a card to come out, and it might be some of this as players in each other's faces here. It is a derby match. This one
and the thing
isn't going to help Dallas any.
No, that's the thing I was about to say. I get it. You want to stand up for your team, but this works great for Houston, not so much for Dallas. You want to, if you're Houston, you want to turn the game into a big scrap. A lot of delays, a lot of talking tos.
Can't believe no one's going to come away with a card out of all of that. It looks like that's the case.
I mean, honestly, Ryan,
I think it was the tackle for me. It was pretty late and from behind.
Yeah, well, Bassi also sort of delaying the restart, but then you got Abubakar coming in there with a big shove, so I'm okay if she just sort of says everybody was giving and getting, and let's just get on with it.
Here's Pomykal, run out of midfield, receives it from Julio, up the left side. Andrade, some good defending there, wins it back from Pomykal. Houston can try and build up the far side. Urguide puts a stop to that, but can only put it out of play. 74th minute, Houston in front, 1-0.
I'm trying to pick out the shape for Dallas, but honestly, it's a little fluid. Sometimes it looks like 3-5-2, sometimes 3-4-3. Sometimes it looks like Paxton is the deepest in midfield. Sometimes it looks like it's Ramiro, so I'll keep looking for it.
Ball down the line to Shaq Moore, return to Abubakar into Pomykal. Keeps it moving, Ibiaga. Out wide left for Anderson Julio, who's playing off the left like he did in inspired fashion against Miami in that comeback win. Pedrinho's won a throw. Picks it into Pomykal. Dallas getting the ball moving here through the lines. Now it breaks for Acosta centrally. Out to Shaq Moore. That pass didn't have a good weight on it. He'll have to retrieve it. Keeps possession. Pedrinho closed down by 2. Works it towards Pomykal, but not enough on it. And it breaks for Kowalczyk. Ibiaga, good work there to step in front of Kowalczyk. Wins it back. Now gets Julio 1v1 out on the far side. McGlynn in retreat. Julio going to switch the play out towards Acosta, but got the weight wrong. It's too far for the Dallas captain. Fires it off the ad boards in frustration.
15 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Dallas does have a show they could bring in. You have Patrice and Delgado, who's got a little something in the attack. They've got Siki and Sabeling that can help you move the ball along, so there are still options.
The next change will be from the Houston side as Toyosi Olusanya replaces Linger striker role. A little surprised we haven't seen in Sabeling yet. It's the type of situations he usually can make an impact. Pomykal wins the header from the Houston throw, but puts it back out on play once again. Bossy fires that one to defeated Dorsey. A loose touch from him. Here's Logan Farrington trying to find a teammate there. May break again for Farrington, but eventually Dorsey sends it clear. All the way through to Michael Collodi. Lifts it down the line. Lucho Acosta, as good as he can be in the air, that's not his strength. Ramiro fouled in midfield there by Bossy, who again is walking away with the ball. Dallas get it quickly back going. Pomykal through the middle finds Farrington. Acosta honestly just got in the way of Logan Farrington there. Dallas turns it over. Since the shape change, Dallas with more possession, but still looking for cutting edge as Pomykal goes over the top. Looking for Acosta, header won easily there by Escobar. Andrade all the way back to Jonathan Bond now. Eric Quill waving the team forward. And find some urgency here, find an equalizing goal. Andrade lifts it ahead. This one all the way through to Michael Collodi. Intended for Alusanya. Another one of the plentiful off-season additions for Houston. There's the ball ahead for Logan Farrington. Nice weight on it from Shaq Moore. Logan Farrington looking for options. Corner of the 18, chops past one. Here's Farrington off the left foot, shot blocked. Breaks for Anderson. Julio, shot from distance, deflected. And that made it comfortable for Jonathan Bond. First time Dallas have really been able to break the lines with a through pass. And they immediately look dangerous. The deflection there helping out the Dynamo goalkeeper. Will wave the orange shirts up the field. Viaga wins the header. Ramiro some time in midfield. Loose pass there intercepted by a sliding Amin Bassi. Escobar put under pressure by Shaq Moore. Chased back to Awadesu. Dallas going hunting here with 3-4 players in the press. Acosta puts pressure on the goalkeeper. He goes long. Pomykal and Julio helping to win it back on the far side. Now with the clock ticking, 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go.
And right now, you don't see a whole lot of stoppage time being added.
Urguide goes direct, looking for Farrington. Farrington nudged to the turf. Referee didn't see enough for a foul, and it bounced through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a lot in there, honestly.
Dallas, over these last couple minutes, trying to make those runs in behind, direct ball over the top, at the very least, hopefully. Stretches some lines for play in the midfield. Here's Dorsey on the overlap up the far side. Urguide loses his footing. Combination with Olasanya. Dorsey inside the 18 off the left foot, and that's the second for Houston. Some redemption, some personal redemption for Griffin Dorsey, who was sent off here last year. And that is a dagger blow from the Houston Dynamo.
You don't see a lot of mistakes there from Masazi Urguide. Not sure it's fair to call that one a mistake. He just lost his footing, but once he loses his footing there, Dallas is in a lot of trouble. Griffin Dorsey, we talked about how He loves to get up that right side. He does it as well as any right back in the league. And as Uriguide loses his footing, he's got Ibiaga in a bad spot. Dorsey does. Pulls the ball back to his left foot. Curls it around Collodi. No mistake there. No fault from the goalkeeper there. Dallas in a huge hole.
And as it stands now with that second goal going in, El Capitan and the Texas Derby series will go the way of the Houston Dynamo. Looking to change that. It's Siki and Sabling. Bernard Kamungo ready to enter the match. Ramiro and Anderson Julio looks like they'll be the ones to be replaced. Although the fourth official was not at all ready and is only now getting the numbers up on the board. Now Julio will stay on. It's Shaq Moore who's replaced. Julio will come to the near side with Kamungo on the far side, and now it's a rescue mission with 8 minutes plus stoppage time to go.
After 80 minutes right now, Dallas with 2 shots on goal. It just continues a really worrying trend where they just can't generate enough good chances at home.
And as good of a shot as it was, one of those 2 shots was from their own half with Anderson Julio.
It's a great point.
So you've got wingers at wing back positionally here. Julio on the right, Kamungo on the left. Here's Anderson Julio. 1-2 with Pedrinho. Nice flick. Good weight on the pass in front of Julio. Early cross in, looking for Lucho. Defended there by Owadesu. Back out to Anderson Julio. Heavy touch for him, but it breaks back for Pedrinho. And it's out off of Bassi.
Story of the night right there with Dallas getting into a good spot on the right side, but the delivery just not clicking.
Uriguide on it here in the center circle. Pamukal and Sabling, the 2 central midfielders right now for Dallas. Here's Acosta off the right side. Acosta, a pass off the backside of Julio. Here's Farrington. Central position here, 20 yards from goal on the dribble. Finds Anderson Julio wide right. Julio, heavy first touch and tried to put the cross in. Deflected out for a corner. Farrington ended up down on the turf. Escobar got in his face. And now it's going to kick off again because honestly, it's a little unnecessary, but again, it serves the Dynamo's purpose with them leading. And both Acosta and Escobar are shown yellow, and that means Acosta will miss the next match.
I just saw a quick replay, and I got to say I didn't see Farrington get any contact in the face. Maybe I missed it.
I know that's not the issue with the game here. Dallas trailing 2-0, but when you watch a player stand over another player as the referee 2 yards away and do nothing, I think it's cost Lucho Acosta a yellow card that didn't need to happen. But anyway.
Well, Escobar got a yellow card as well, right?
Right, but he was the one who instigated it. And we're still waiting to resume play here as the clock is ticking towards 85 minutes gone. Dallas have had a fair share of opportunities on set plays, yet to really even generate threat on target. Acosta from the near side will be an outswinger. Good weight on it towards the near post, looking for Farrington, but the Dynamo get ahead to it. And it's Sabling trying to put it back in, is broken for Olasanya. Pamukal dumped him to the turf, and the Dynamo get this counterattack wrong, although Brooklyn Rain's going to empty the tank here to keep it in play on the near side. And he's got it in the corner, 2 Dallas players around him. Now he's sort of sitting on the ball, trying to win a corner, eventually gets a goal kick.
Tori Pinso with some pretty solid contact there against Brooklyn Rains. She held her own too.
Space in midfield here for Nsabelang. Over towards Pomykal, but deflected in its path. Pomykal wins it back, now finds Acosta. Up the right side for Anderson Julio. He's going to run at his defender Escobar here, recently booked. Escobar, though, nice tackle that time. Now Acosta, twinkle toes through the middle. Acosta waved up by the referee. He showed some good feet to beat the first player for sure. Couldn't tell from here if there was enough contact, but he's still down inside the 18 now.
It'll get checked just like everything. We're going to watch another replay here as Acosta gets into the penalty area. I do see some contact there from Archer.
And the yellow card is out, but not for Lucho. It's for Eric Quill.
Torrey Pinto just asking goalkeeper Jonathan Bond to hold for a second. Make sure everything gets checked.
Houston running a couple of changes, you'd imagine, defensively, trying to see this one out. Subs coming over from the far side. Costa showing his frustration, thinking he had potentially won a penalty and a lifeline there. They play on, no penalty. And Pedrinho absolutely clattering Broken Reigns there and picking up a yellow card.
There's just a lot of frustration now from everybody on the Dallas side. Eric Quill, Pedrinho there, that's just a frustration foul leading to a yellow card.
And nobody's in a rush to go and track down the loose ball. Eventually, Bond does go retrieve it. There'll be a free kick just around the halfway line for Houston. We've played 88 minutes now, and it's the Dynamo in front 2-0. Reading a couple of changes as well. Back playing now in the 89th minute. Owadesu goes long out towards McGlynn. Got the winning goal as things stand. Origide going to try and shield this one out for a goal kick, and he's definitely got the physical advantage there against Jack McGlynn. He does. It's going to be a goal kick. Now Houston will make those changes. McGlynn off, Ethan Bartlow on. It's a decidedly defensive swap. And Junior Urso in for Amin Bassi, adding some more steel to the Houston midfield.
I mentioned that Houston hasn't been bad on the road this year, even though the record's not very good, but put in a good shift today. They're about to get their first win on the road out of 6 this year. That's something very strange happens here.
At the very least, if Dallas can find a goal, they'll hold on to El Capitan. As it stands, that's going home with the Houston Dynamo. Dallas swing it through the back line. Urquide out to Pedrinho. Ibiaga to Lalas Abubakar. Urquide again, head up and some space for him. Takes it on the dribble. Pedrinho out to Acosta off the left wing. Pedrinho ahead to the feet of Paxton Pomykal, lifted into the 18, looking for Kamungo. Cleared away, 6 minutes up on the fourth official's board. Olasanya is going to beat Urquide to this ball, and then went down looking for a foul, nothing given. And Sabaling ahead, looking for Farrington. Easily defended that time by Andrade. Urso, first action for him. He evades and Sabaling and goes through to Ibiaga, goes long for Farrington, head of the way. Acosta through the lines in Sabalang. Just crowded off it there by Andrade. Acosta onto the second ball, head up. Looking for options. Now skips past two. Oh, twinkle toes from Acosta. Shot from distance as he was dragged down. Sort of the gray area there of the advantage rules as he got the shot on target, but clearly affected by the defender.
Yeah, I think if he had probably gone down there, he would have gotten a free kick call, but he fought through it, and credit to him for that. And got off a decent shot, honestly. Jonathan Bond had to go down to his right. It's going to go down as the third shot on target for Dallas tonight.
There's Olasanya straight from Jonathan Bond's punt. He tried to chip Michael Colodi. Easy catch for the Dallas keeper.
Colodi a little bit out of no man's land that time. If the chip had come off a little nicer, then Colodi might have been beaten there.
Sabalang to Pomykal, 92nd minute. Just 4 minutes to play here. It's with Kamungo. First chance for him to stretch his legs on the far side. Cross blocked by Dorsey, who's got the latest goal for the Dynamo, and a free kick conceded by Kamungo.
Well, 11 shots for Dallas tonight, 3 on target. That's it's going to actually improve their average a little bit. Unfortunately, not much, and their average going in was the lowest of any team in Major League Soccer in both categories in terms of at home. Lowest in shots and average shots and shots on target. So Dallas still obviously looking for solutions just to find more attacking volume at home.
In the first half in particular, you'd certainly say they worked at least a piece of their game plan pretty well. Got a lot of opportunities up the right side and just couldn't execute crossing positions. Whistle goes, won by Kowalczyk here.
Yeah, he got some half chances, just never turned them into good chances.
Yellow cards now starting to add up. I think that was Urigide, the latest. But Houston countering that tactical advantage Dallas had in the first half well here in the second. We've only really seen it maybe once or twice.
I think it was actually Pedrinho on the foul, but it's a good thing that he didn't see a second yellow card. Tori Pinto might have gotten that one wrong, but lucky for Dallas that she did.
Artur chips this one out to Olusanya. Header one there, down for Kowalczyk. Kowalczyk just lets it run out of play there. Couple of minutes to play. Dallas trailing 2-0. Looking for some kind of response, something for the fans here. Urigide pressured by Brooklyn Reigns. Out to Kamungo. And for Nsabalang. Finds Acosta centrally. A lot of options ahead of him. Chops past Urso through the lines to Julio. Out wide right now with Pedrinho. Pedrinho into the feet of Nsabalang. There's nothing he could do with that one.
Dallas looks so much like Houston did in the past, just trying to cram the ball right down the middle. They just don't have Hector Herrera out there to do it, or Koku Karaskia.
Julio's wide right here. Finds Acosta, then he's just shielded off it by Andrade. Kamungo trying to win it back from Artur. Artur able to hold him off. Lifted ahead. Nobody really in pursuit for Houston. It goes through to Michael Colodi. Now the final minute of stoppage time. Through the lines, Pedrinho. Some space for him. He gets moving towards goal. Pedrinho out to Kamungo. Deflected on its way out to him. He retrieves it towards the corner flag. Faces up Griffin Dorsey. That's back for Pomykal. Pomykal service towards Logan Farrington, who wins the header, and that one was goal bound, cleared off the line by Bartlow. Nice service from Pomykal. Good work from Farrington to get the header on target. Dallas is going to get one more chance here on a free kick to try and retain El Capitan at the very least, even in defeat here. And it was actually a header from Farrington off of Awadesu, would have been an own goal. And they go quickly. Acosta into the danger area, and Farrington got a touch, and it's just that kind of night. Dallas really should have scored.
Well, 3 players at the back post, and none of them can get a foot on it.
And that will do it, as it's a Dynamo demolition in Frisco. 2-0 the final score, and the answers still yet to be found for FC Dallas offensively, particularly here at Toyota Stadium. We will break it down for you the best we can on the post-game show. Thank you for joining us on the call tonight, as Dallas loses this one 2-0 to the visiting Houston Dynamo.
Just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods, got to this hidden campsite only it could reach.
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Hey, wait, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Uh-huh, yeah, thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
Hi everyone, it's Marco Farfan, and you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer on the FC Dallas app.
After 90-plus minutes at Toyota Stadium, El Capitan has a new home as Houston Dynamo come in and beat FC Dallas 2-0. The exact result that results in the howitzer cannon heading back down south as FC Dallas loses the Frisco half of the Texas Derby. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. No highlights on the evening as Dallas goes scoreless once again. It's Jack McGlynn in the 64th minute for Houston opening the scoring, what ends up being the winning goal, and Griffin Dorsey adds on in the 81st to make it 2-0, the final score in the way of Houston. Let's bring you tonight's postgame stats, which are brought to you by UMB Bank. Possession goes the way of the visitors, 52 to 48. 13 shots, Dallas, 10 for Houston, but 5 on-target shots for Houston, just 3 for FCD. 7 corners for Dallas, 6 for the Dynamo. You had 3 saves for Michael Colodi, 3 saves for Jonathan Bond, 18 fouls for the Dynamo, 14 for Dallas. You had 3 yellow cards for the home side and 2 for the away team. As we bring in the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. And Ryan, I'll start here with you. This feels a little bit like a game of two halves. In the first half, we were encouraged. We had some things we were talking about at halftime. And then in the second half, it feels like Houston made the adjustments, got their first goal, and were able to ride that to victory, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the second half in particular and you ask yourself, if you didn't know which team played on Wednesday, I think Houston showed a lot more energy in the second half. I think they showed more urgency. They defended well. They did, everything you'd want in a position. Once they got the lead, they were scrappy. They, left some tackles in and allowed skirmishes to play out to let the clock tick down. And Dallas just never developed any rhythm in the attacking third. And the same problems continue to pop up, and they struggle to create any type of threat at home. And at the end of the day, the best chance came from their own half, and that was Anderson Julio with a terrific strike denied by Jonathan Bond that could have swung the entire game. Credit to the Dynamo goalkeeper for keeping that one out, because really in the second half he wasn't tested anything at a high level. I think he had a couple of saves, and Dallas missed a couple of chances late in the game once they're already trailing by 2. I don't have many positives, if any at all, really, to take away from this game. It's maybe the best positive is that they play again on Wednesday and they have a chance to put this one behind them.
Steve Davis?
Well, I'm just going to start with some numbers here. There have been 6 home games so far. Dallas has 4 goals. That's not good. Dallas has 1 goal in their last 3 home games. That's not including that Open Cup game, of course. So I should say 1 goal in the last 3 home league games. First half, as you guys said, I thought there were a couple of patterns that we saw that Dallas was at least able to get into the final third in an effective way, in a way that was repeatable. So that's good. That's progress. Now, from there, you still got to make the delivery. You still got to have some kind of predictable runs. You still got to add numbers into the box. We didn't see that. So I guess you could say that was a step in the right direction. But, guys, we're a third of the way through the season at this point, and you're not really looking for steps in the right direction anymore. A good season is starting to sort of slip away a little bit. This is not early in the season anymore. So Dallas tonight has 3 shots on target and 13 shots overall, which is actually sort of an improvement over their home performance by average, and yet the bottom line production just isn't there. 4 goals in 6 home games is just not going to cut it. So the look for solutions goes on, and I think what I'd like to see here is maybe some personnel changes. You can't at some point sort of kind of keep rolling the same guys out there and do the same things, even though there have been some changes in terms of tactical alignment, but maybe it's just time to shake up the personnel a little bit more, because you just got to get more points at home. 4 out of a possible 18 now.
No, that's not good. And, obviously we'll talk about one change for the next MLS match that comes as a result of a booking tonight. But there was the moment that kind of felt like the bad one is something you've brought up a couple times, Steve. On Griffin Dorsey's goal that ends up making it 2-0, if you watch it, obviously they're trying to defend and they just don't get it done. But there's 3 guys behind the play that have not streamed back. Almost all of Houston have, but Dallas has 3 bodies back there. And I don't know what to do with that, because we hear the coach and the players talk about this warrior mentality, this enablement to be great in this effort. And there's times when you see it, especially on the road specifically. But there's something about this home turf for whatever reason that that just it isn't there. And I'm not asking anybody to solve it. I don't understand what the missing connection is there. But it's really frustrating when your team is down a goal, the opposing team is attacking, and in this case it's 3 of your bigger players, your 3 attackers, aren't going back to try and defend the goal.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I think that was the case on the second goal and on multiple other occasions when you sort of left the center backs to defend. Obviously, you need to push numbers up late in the game, and you want to be fair, about that. But ultimately, I don't think that the way that we've discussed the team and the way that we were hoping the team was going to play, it hasn't come to fruition a third of the way through the season. I think that's the reality. We can all look at it. You look at teams across the league and you think, who do you not want to play? Who are the dogs? Who are the guys that are going to fight for every ball? And right now, Dallas has not put themselves in those ranks with the likes of an RSL, who we saw last week, fight for every ball, be physical. They didn't have as much talent as Dallas. I don't think anyone would, maybe outside of Salt Lake City would argue that. But they scrapped and they committed fouls and they tackled hard and they ran back hard. And I'm not going to sit here and question the effort levels of professional athletes, because I know how much they put into these games and every day to take care of themselves and be in fighting shape. But right now, it's not what we're seeing on the field, and we have to be honest about that.
The other thing that I guess I would say about that is, it's not always all effort. The whole thing can't be all vibes. And what
Spacing,
I'm getting to here, yes, exactly. That's what I'm getting to is that, rest defense behind the ball is important too. And maybe that can be organized a little bit better. Now, it's ironic because, the previous full-time manager, Nico Estevez, he was the master at that, of putting players in the right position behind the ball. Now, too much so, because that really detracted from the team's ability to get forward in effective ways with the ball. So maybe there's a balance there that still Eric Will is still trying to find. You do need some structure behind the ball so that when you lose it, you don't have 5 guys ahead of it and or 9 guys ahead of it, and 4 of them are going to run back and 5 aren't. So